Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Hash Church, episode 32, if you can imagine. We've been at this 32 episodes. I'm going to send the links through the Facebook and through email. We've got, well, we never really know who we've got coming by. I send the link out to as many folks as I can. It is growing. More and more people ask me to come and be a part of it. And I'm glad to have you guys all here. We've just started Hash Church a little late today, but we're on the ball. We're making it happen. And I'm sure soon we'll see some folks. Hey, welcome, Tony.
Hey, what's going on?
You know, just getting my day started. I was a little bit, I was trying to do a Cuban tech thing this morning. My cord that I ordered a week ago to hook up this little video camera, this little white cord that I had to order. I thought I might be able to do a camera in a camera, and my wife brought me the cord about 3 minutes before I went live. And then I ended up, everything closed on me when I downloaded many cams. Everything, all my browsers shut off, and when I went back to open them through Chrome would zoom in on my picture and make it so all I could see was my eye, and I couldn't bring it out. So I am on Firefox. I hope that's not going to be a problem today, but I'm not on Chrome. Chrome wasn't working.
Oh my God.
I know. How are things with you this morning?
They're really good. I'm surprised you were having a Hash Church with it being Mother's Day and everything.
Well, you know what? It's true. I started Mother's Day for my wife last night. My daughter and I gave her some really nice bath bombs and some flowers, so she was able to have a really beautiful rose-colored bath last night. And I'm taking them for a brunch later today, an epic, epic brunch. So happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there. We sure do appreciate the beauty that you bring into our lives, generally, the absolute light that you bring into our life. So we thank the mothers. And welcome, Etienne and Aaron.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Happy Father's Day, Mother's Day to y'all.
Yes. Happy.
And to you and yours.
Love it. Thank you. Mine already broke down once today.
Morning.
And happy Mother's Day to all your mother plants as well, everyone.
Yeah.
There you go.
Outside enjoying
To the mothers, eh? Very good. Very good.
What about the fathers, too, of the planet?
Father's Day is next month.
Yeah, there's a whole nother day for that, bro. You can't be taken up on your wife's day and talking about Father's Day on Mother's Day. That's not
The boys are busting nuts right now, bro. They're fathers. What do you want me to do? You gotta give them some credit.
Like a normal
Without
father, you take it on the chin, you thank mom, and you wait till your turn.
All right. I want to ask Horatio a question. How did you fucking do that, bro?
What? Oh. Look, I haven't even slept. I'm just trying to make it to the end of Hash Church. You saw how stressed I was at the lift event, and I'm like, I'm not going to catch up. I'm not going to catch up. Well, I didn't catch up. There was no sleep last night.
Yeah, but you created another new option. You've isolated THCA. Is that what you believe you've got?
It wouldn't be. It's the mesh between tetracannabinol 8 and 9. Somewhere around there, as I'm trying to push it to a higher purity, but it was a concept that was shared with me, and that does it work with LHO, and I put the concept into practice, and it seems that there's something to explore. The funny thing is, I actually have no other strains or material to use to modify it with, so I can't see if it makes any high stronger at the moment, because that's all I've got.
What about terpenes? Have you thought of using pure terpenes to modulate it?
I didn't get to. Well, obviously, I put out that picture 2 hours ago, so it was 6 a.m. when I took it. But I wanted to use it like we use terpenes to enhance the high of whatever strain we have. But of course, yeah, I could just pair it back with the terpene I have and see if it recreates the strain.
Right.
It's kind of a lot to look at.
Yeah, THCA has been around for a while. I mean, Bubbleman makes THCA every day.
Every day.
And you know, like in the BHO world, all you have to do is, you know, take everything cold, take the plants fresh, and that's what THCA is. Rosin's THCA with all the terpenes, as long as there's no heat applied to the THC.
Yeah, but not pure. It's not pure though. What he's got is a damn near white product that he's.
I did a 98% THCA 3 years ago. You just purge till it's powder. That's what rock.
It looks like some of Jib's water hash.
Yeah, that's what THCA is. It's just it's before it's activated. So what I'm saying to you is that that's what rock butter was. We purged to powder, and it was testing 90% THCA because we didn't use any heat in the whole entire process in taking it out.
So now when you say you got, because I remember rock butter completely, and I always wondered about where's the terpenes that are supposed to be gluing it all up together, and I just blamed it on the video footage always being shot in a cold room. But obviously everything is THCA, but when you, let's say you're purging, are you just purging out the terps as the direct goal?
Everything. The whole thing. You just purge it out till it goes to powder, till there's nothing left. Leave it for 5 days. It turns to powder.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's even another tech for the folks out there. Fresh in a hash church. Leave your batch for... So if someone went on vacation with their BHO, they could come back and just get crack rock.
Well, if you use the pressure right, that was also a while ago. So now you have a lot more tech that you can use with the oven and pumps. You can technically just keep purging. Like you know, you can winterize, de-wax, and then just purge it until it's completely into powder. It's really... But I think I had a question for you on the limonene. So LHO, because when you're using that to get THCA, is there any molecule that's getting hung up from that that conversion that you're doing with limonene to, and maybe that's why it's holding up you getting pure THCA? You're just trying to get that last bit out?
Well, I never got super serious about it. The first kind of question I had was, well, what if, because there's a big question in my mind about what else is or isn't being extracted when it comes to this one nonpolar that's natural based. Am I pulling over other cannabinoids that are unnamed that fit the bill? It's currently it's really weird. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, is it not purified enough, or do I have another compound that's not suitable for the process that's present? This is where now it would be really, really nice to just have the feedback loop with the lab versus literally have to go off of color at this point.
Yeah.
But,
so the polarity of limonene, because that's where it's happening. So you could make THCA with 100% alcohol. You could do it with hydrocarbon. Anything that's going to be a non-polar would actually isolate and pull that. Some people even used, and I would never do this and tell you who did it, but I've seen people pour heptane or hexane over flowers, and you can pull THCA that way. But what you have to do, whatever the solvent that you're using would have to come out of the process. That's why we always purged under pressure till it was completely powder, till there was absolutely nothing left. So in your process, what's the polarity of the limonene, and how are you pulling out the residuals that's being left behind to get to pure THCA?
well, I've never gotten a clear document that could place limonene in between positive and you could say negative polarity. So when it'll get thrown and compared to toluene as a nonpolar, but then there'll be other anecdotal statements that'll say, well, no, it's way more polar than a butane. And I'm like, what is this? Is this a hybrid solvent? Because when it comes to its solvent efficacy, it's way stronger. So I can go way more further on, almost 2-to-1 ratio with the bud. I don't know from a hard line chemical standpoint. I've never been able to get an output that's like, because you know how they can't just define it as this is the number and this is the polarity. In nonpolar, it just says it's nonpolar with a positive end, but it doesn't say where it stands, if it's half and half or if it's 3/4 in 1/3 or 1/4. I don't have that answer on limonene. There's not enough, even though there's a shit ton of research, there's none on actually proving it compared to other things. So I rarely can find it on a chart with other solvents.
So I'm looking at Bubbleman's post on Fresh Headies. It looks like fullmeltbubble.com, his forum. He's got orange oil and THC. This was in 2012. He's talking about D-limonene as a nonpolar, and then breaking down, saying that the crystals are the trichomes are coated in a nonpolar wax, effectively making THC nonpolar.
Well, that's what we typically go off of, but you totally can use a very polar alcohol and get the same result for the pole. That's kind of why I was never clear. I'm like, you can extract with alcohol just fine. What makes the non-polar head? Is it just dissolve faster in a non-polar environment? Because alcohol extractions don't seem to have an issue. They're just not production viable because of chlorophyll. So I could never get an answer to that.
I'm looking it up for you right now and trying to find anything.
Well, while Tony's looking that up, I want to welcome Amber to the room. Amber came to us through Nick Bradley from Harborside, and she's a Hash Church fan, I guess. She's been watching Hash Church for a while, and she has some stories to share with us today in regards to her own use. Welcome, Amber.
Hi, Amber.
How you doing?
Hey. Good. How you guys doing this morning?
Good.
Good.
Doing really well. Doing really well. Happy to have you with us. Thanks for coming in and being a new face in Hash Church. We definitely need more women, so thank you for that. And yeah, thanks for being brave enough to come share your stories with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me this morning.
Absolutely. So yeah,
Good morning.
Nick gave me a little bit of a lowdown on your situation. He had mentioned that you had lupus.
Yes.
Yes, as well as a variety of other things that you're suffering from, correct?
Yeah, lupus is one of those autoimmune diseases that kind of comes with a bunch of overlap diseases. So typically when you have lupus, you're going to get a bunch of other like carryover diseases, like rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's syndrome, some connective tissue disorders, stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I used to, back in the day, I used to make special type of smoothies for patients for free that would come to River Rock for that condition. We were utilizing raw cannabis juice and, oddly enough, THCA in combinations with CBDA, CBGA, and different things that created a smoothie that would be able to penetrate and help with pain and help with the entire system and process. But the Colorado MED didn't like that too much, and that's when those laws came out and said that we had to we couldn't do things like that. But it was like kind of having a juice bar for lupus and different patients and IBS and Crohn's, and it was really good to create a specific patient juice bar for conditions like that. And that was like kind of the things that like I really felt needed and still does need to be pushed even today, you know. And it's
definitely.
So I know what you're going through. I see people go through that.
Absolutely. So you're finding cannabis obviously is a fairly important factor in your life with the things that you're suffering from.
It is. It's huge, and it's been a really big help for a really long time. And I moved to California in February of 2014. I actually got a job working in the cannabis industry for an edibles company, Compassion Edibles. So when I moved here, you know, I kind of moved here because I didn't really have a choice. You know, it was either I could stay in Chicago and kind of suffer from the really harsh winters, or move to Georgia, back to Atlanta where a lot of my family is, but there was just no safe access there, you know. So I moved to Oakland in February of 2014. And yeah, I mean, it's really changed my life. It's really helped me deal with a lot of the symptoms that I suffer with, especially the topicals. Topicals and tinctures, like those kinds of things, I don't have access to on the East Coast. And those have proved to be really, 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 really awesome, dealing with muscle pains and joint pains and inflammation. And
Amber, what are you using now that works for you that you have access to?
I really, really like. I've got a cannabis bath soak that I use. I really, really like that. It's basically just Epsom salt fused with some cannabis coconut oil, and it's got some other beneficial things in it, like lavender and stuff like that. I also use massage oil. I really like cannabis massage oil. I really love canna caps also. Canna caps really, really help with muscle spasms. I have a lot of chest pain, chest inflammation, and the canna caps really, really seem to help with those kinds of things, a lot of the pain.
Interesting. Do you do a combination of like topicals as well as the caps?
Absolutely. I really do everything. I love. I know that the Bizarre Brothers were on. Josh was on last week. I'm a huge fan of the Bizarre Brothers and the Brain Taffy. Like, I do dabs. I smoke a lot of weed. I love indicas. I also take a lot of canna caps. And I eat a lot of edibles. I actually started an edibles company. So, I'm a really, really, really big fan of ingesting cannabis and just using cannabis in any way that I can, so that I don't have to really mess with the pharmaceutical drugs.
Right.
I would say 99% of the products that we see in the dispensaries are created by patients because of things they've tried and are looking for something that works for them because they found something that kind of works. So, hey, whenever you get that done, please come on by Berkeley Patients Group. We're always looking for diverse products for our patients to get access to.
Okay, awesome. All right.
Yeah, and also the science behind that, which makes a lot of sense for autoimmune conditions and things. When you look at the endocannabinoid system and you study the effects of having THCA or THC actually go through the digestive tract where your peripheral organs and your CB2 receptors are, that actually turns on a specific type of pathway and signaling to the other receptor. And so that's why when people say, oh, high CBD with no THC or hemp, they're not getting any kind of medicinal effects because they're not really fully turning on the system, if you will. And so a lot of patients that have autoimmune, I always utilize, and this is coming from myself as a patient, why I created Prana, was to be able to use different ratios that could target something like that. So I always like the 1-to-1 for that. So if you use, you could even use THCA and CBD together, or you could have them both active because you're someone that likes to smoke and somebody that enjoys that. And so that's why people always ask me, why do you have a non-active and an active version? It's because there are people that actually enjoy their medicine, and they want to be able to enjoy those feelings. And not only does it create a psychotropic effect, it creates a therapeutic effect for your life and your lifestyle, because people don't realize the psychological advantages they have when they have a healthy immune system or they have a healthy central nervous system. So there comes a struggle that you go through that people don't realize. And so if you feel your medicine and it makes you feel better and it makes your mood better and it puts your whole day into a better mood, shame on people that stop you from accessing that.
Forget about shame on people. It's going to be
Great.
criminally negligent. These people are going to be criminally charged one day. I mean, one of the things that really always impressed me about the Prana line and sort of Tony's knowledge when I first met him was that he was on this different level of acknowledging the CB1 receptors and the CB2 receptors, their location in the different systems, one in the immune and one in the central nervous system, and the way to actually acknowledge turning those on through both capsules and drops. I was completely impressed with that, and I think that it's an advanced way of looking at things, but even recently when I went to the LIFT conference and spoke to some people in the industry, when I mentioned that, you can just see it on their face that they're like, whoa, that's like 15 steps ahead of what I was thinking. And it's important. Going back to the criminally negligent, people like yourself, Amber, I mean, we're happy that you moved to California and that you're in a better place, but the fact that you had to that you couldn't just go to a nice warm Atlanta where your family all was, that's criminal. That is criminal to do that.
It's criminal, and it's really tough, you know? It's like I'm a sick person, so I'm sick, and I'm all the way across the country from my family, so I'm missing that whole support system too, you know? So that really makes it tough, you know?
Yeah, it's not fair. I mean, you know, to give you an idea of the boat so many people are in that you're in as well. I spoke with a woman yesterday whose daughter has an extreme form of epilepsy. She just had brain surgery recently. The woman's got her on all sorts of different pharmaceutical drugs. She's extremely afraid because she's got a relationship problem with her husband and he's trying to get the kid taken away from her. So she's too afraid to give this child cannabis. And I just think that that is absolutely criminal.
Well, not only is it criminal, it just shows us the work that we're still doing and have to do. I'm working on legislation right now in Louisiana and Pennsylvania and Florida. We have to always stay active because until it's in all 50 states, we can't just settle and say, hey, in California we got it, thanks, good luck everybody else. You know, it's still, you know, until everyone's out of jail, it's still our duty every single day to help our brothers and sisters out. So we have to constantly put the issue, and I agree, it's absolutely criminal that you have to be how many thousands of miles away from your family and support network, because it is really crucial when you're a patient on top of your medicine. The support group is almost as crucial.
Absolutely. Family for sure. I mean, my goodness. And you're a veteran smoker.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a veteran. I was in the Coast Guard for a little while.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely a veteran smoker too.
love the hat.
Thank you.
I'm rocking DNA today. DNA. Aaron in the house. Did you leave, Aaron? Are you no longer with us? Shouting you out, bro. 527 people watching. They're feeling for you, Amber. They're definitely giving you big ups and saying, yeah, that's some bullshit to have to go through. It's, you know, it's great in the sense that you're able to go somewhere, because it wasn't that long ago that you couldn't even go there. You know, like 20, 30 years ago, people weren't able to go anywhere. And so thank God for places like California leading the charge, the West Coast, places like Colorado. It's inspiring to see up here in Canada. I'll tell you, we never thought we would see it. We really never thought we would see it. It's
Hey, we need to do a Mother's Day poll to all the mothers.
I will do a Mother's Day poll for all the mothers. That is absolutely on par. All right, everyone's getting ready for a Mother's Day pull. All right.
Okay, I got a Barbara Bud joint, and I got Barbara Bud sift, all at the same time for the moms.
Nice. Johnny B with the Barbara. We'll hit Johnny's cam, then we'll go over to Etienne's cam. Everyone's puffing for moms. Get your piece out. We love the moms. I guess I'll hit the next one.
That was a double.
What up, Rick?
That's Rick and Ramon. Hey, Rick and Ramon.
Rick and Ramon on the world tour.
How y'all doing?
We're doing good, man. We've just been listening to some of Amber's stories. Amber's a new Hash Church attendee. She's coming in, telling us a little bit about her situation using medical cannabis, having to move away and not be able to go down south where her family is, but kind of have to choose Cali and her health over her family. So just talking about the criminality of it. Rick's no stranger to the criminality of cannabis prohibition. Amber, as you probably know, his old man serving 98 years in prison in Florida for cannabis crimes where maybe people got high, but certainly no one got hurt.
I got some pretty good news this week. I can't give a lot of details about it, but I think there's going to be some big changes in the coming months.
Dude, look at you hold that smile back. That makes me feel good, dude. You don't have to say shit. My hair is standing up on my arms, and I'm going to have a puff to that as well.
That's a big smile right there, dude.
Yeah.
All right. I'll hit some Horatio. Little of this D-limonene goodness.
Ooh-wee.
A bit of rosin hash for you.
You guys are going to be here soon, and we're all ready to impress you. D420K's making some sick dry sift. Johnny B's got the rosin in the house. We're going to take you over to Flav's and show you the epicness over there. Maybe hit Remo's. Definitely puff out of epic glass. We saw you guys puffing out of the secret agents, and we have to step that shit up when you come out here. So we're thinking 88 Opal motherships. I'm guessing high-end integrity, high-integrity glass. We'll want to impress you for sure. Maybe he'll pull out the cups, the Japanese cups, bro.
You guys will have to smoke the gauntlet.
There you go. The gauntlet. All right, here's to Rick's smile.
Thank you, brother. Pleasure being here. I'm overwhelmed with the awesomeness of Colorado and just everybody showing love and letting us see what's going on. It's hard to imagine till you come here. For me.
Yeah, I've enjoyed watching it. I've enjoyed, well, not watching it because I've only seen the odd picture that like Ramon will post, but I know I'm reading behind the lines of those pictures because I have a true knowledge of exactly what's going on, and that puts a smile on my face too.
It's been awesome.
You guys are on a good tour. You're over at Tony's. I mean, shit.
Dabs over Denver, baby.
Dabs Over Denver. Yes, Dabs Over Denver is Tony's new show on YouTube, guys. If you haven't checked it out, you can Google that, Dabs Over Denver.
When does it air?
You know what? I don't know when he puts it on exactly, but it's just kind of like if you subscribe to his channel, you'll get an email sent to you when he does air, and oh, there he is. Maybe he can answer his own question.
Yeah, it's kind of like my fun hobby project in the background when people come by. Sometimes I film. Sometimes I don't, but I'm usually several episodes behind. Since I'm not doing River Rock TV anymore, this is the only channel that I do. And when people come by, sometimes we're going to drop some different guests and different knowledge and different things. So we tried to do it the first time with 3 cameras, and it didn't come out as well the first 2 times. So I'm trying to do it with just 2 cameras and just keep it simple. But it'll come once I do it. It'll definitely be out more than once a month. Yeah. It's going quick.
Sweet. Almost 600 people hanging out today.
What up, everybody?
Oh yeah, Horatio. That's going to be exciting. I bet you Horatio is going to want to show you the D-limonene and maybe impress you with some of that. It's definitely interesting. It's the only oil I smoke.
Yeah, I saw a picture he posted, but that looks really interesting. The one he posted just now.
It's well, you know what's interesting about it is that there's no one in his court. There's no one playing. He's all alone. He's playing a game by himself. There's like nobody's playing his game.
He will learn in his own playground.
Yeah, he's got his own playground, dude.
So.
Yeah, it's good to have a oh yes, there is a Blue River, just no River Rock. Free Delisi! The Freedom Brothers just wrote that.
It's going to happen, y'all. I'm going to have a big update next week, 100%, with some good details. I just got to follow through with everything before I really know what's up.
I don't think you have to be an activist to be a part of the movement, Saint. I think activists are a part of the movement, and, you know, in fact, they are a part that will probably dissipate more and more, because once we get what we want, there's no real reason to continue fighting for that very same thing. Usually the core group of activists, they're really fighters. They want to push and better and get things changed. So I imagine a lot of cannabis activists will maybe point over to like psilocybin mushrooms or some other plant they believe in or some other thing that's being, you know, detrimentally assaulted by prohibition.
Yeah, people are looking to maps and other social justice issues to get themselves involved with, or as myself, veterans issues, you know, try to help people along the way.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
We all evolve, right?
You know, I'm telling you, I don't know if I mentioned this last week. I don't think I could have. I was in the CCHQ Vapor Lounge with D420K, and a guy came up to us, and he had a piece of parchment out, and he was like, "Hey, bro, like it's a real honor to meet you. You know, I watch Hash Church every week. I've learned a lot from you guys." I was sitting with Darrin, another hash maker, and he basically handed over a piece of dry sift hash that, I shit you not, would have made any single person, particularly even the top 3 who won at Legends. This shit was so fire. It was perfectly almost clear yellowish dry sift that he'd pressed into a parchment. I posted it. When I held it up to the sun, it was very close to clear. But the smell of it was like the smell of a half pound of weed. When I opened it, it just reeked. It was Candy Kush was the strain, and it reeked literally like candy from a distance. And so this guy came up, and I just thought, you know, one of the things that he said to me was, he's like, we'll never be like you guys. You know, you guys are the pioneers. And I said, no, we're like the second, even third generation of pioneer, I swear. We're not the pioneers. Like, there were guys like Skunkman Sam and Robert Connell Clark and
Old Ed.
Old Ed, of course, number 3 on the list, for sure. You know, Old Ed was a big deal, and I was very blessed to have met him. But having this guy come up and show Darrin and I hash that was as nice as any hash we'd ever seen, and then thanking us, thanking Hash Church, and then saying that because of, he kind of said it at first like it was, he thought it was a negative towards himself, but he was like, you know, you guys are the pioneers, because you know what, we'll never go to jail for this. You guys were fighting against going to jail, and I thought, dude, we didn't do that for credit, and it's amazing to hear a 24-year-old kid who just passed me some of the nicest dry sift on the planet giving you a shout out right now, Van City Extracts. That was proper. I can't deny it.
Yes.
Darrin.
Yes, that fucking was fire, man. It was a Candy Kush he brought, a pink Candy Kush.
Yeah.
And the way it was on the paper, like, you know, I've got my stuff on papers, and we do all that kind of stuff and parchment it and melt it, heat it up. But the stuff that he had on there was absolute. Like, I would say it was 99.99%.
Yeah, well, dude, listen, even, and not that, but perfectly grown, because even the hash you had, anyone would have said was like, not your own, but the stuff you had purchased or whatever, that full melt.
Yep.
That stuff I would have said was like an 8. And then he showed up with his, and then I looked at that stuff and thought maybe it's more like a 6.5.
Or a 4.
I mean, honestly, that shit was fire, dude.
Yeah, you bet, man. I had that hit when I went back to the hotel room, the one we split up that.
Yes.
I took 2 of those, and I savored both of those hoots. They were fucking great. I can't wait to hook up again with the guy and have a sesh down at CCHQ or somewhere set up that we set it up when we get down there. Right?
Sure, it'll happen. And you know who I smoked mine with?
Who?
With Jonathan. Was it? No, not Jonathan. What was his name? The young kid
with the migraines.
Yeah.
That stood up at the conference. What a kid, man.
Yeah.
Impressive.
I believe it was Jonathan. He really impressed me. This is a young kid. I've got a video coming out, so you guys will hear his story. He started CFAM, which is Canadians for Fair Access to Medical Marijuana. He woke up when he was 14 years old. I really want to have him on Hash Church is what I really want to do, and have him tell his story. It's very powerful. He woke up one day with a very rare form of migraine headache, and it's just never gone away. He wakes up every day with it still to this day, and he used all sorts. I think he told me it was either 48 or 58 experimental pharmaceutical drugs that he put him on, and they didn't even have anything to do with headaches. Some of them were antipsychotics and antidepressants, and they were just picking from any line of pharmaceutical medication. Keep in mind he was 14, 15, and 16 while they were doing this to him. And he
Still
eventually,
developing.
yeah, still developing. So he eventually discovered cannabis, and you know, he had some pretty cool stories to tell in regards to his journey.
Did it help with his migraines?
Yeah, you know, it's a little bit of a pain relief thing. He said it doesn't take them away. I don't want to misquote him, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but I will make a point on getting him into here.
I can tell you that I talked to him afterwards at the conference.
Yeah.
And what he told me is that when he doesn't have the marijuana, he can't really have any life or any quality of life. He can't go out. He can't go do what he did at the conference and go speak to people. He can't do what he wants to do. And this absolutely makes him and lets him do what he wants to do and go through it without having the severity of it, I guess, you know?
Yep. Yeah, well, I just found him on Facebook, so I think I'm going to send him a little link.
Here's his card.
And maybe he'll come. Yeah, I have his card, but it's hard to send him the Facebook link.
What was really cool about Jonathan is he actually is being able to get coverage for medical cannabis, and he is.
That's the big part of his story that I want him to come and share. Exactly. That's huge, John. That's the big.
And I actually wrote it all down, and he's got a student life plan through Sunlight Naturals, and he filled out a restricted drug use form, and he actually got coverage for his cannabis, and he is covered at the age of 22, and he gets his from Tilray, if I believe that was who it was from. But
A monthly stipend for his cannabis? How does that work?
Pardon me?
Well, you know what? This is why I wanted him to come in and tell that part of the story. Yeah. And I've invited him in, so I'm hoping that he gets the message in the next little bit. And because it's for us to answer questions from him, I think is not going to be as accurate as if he maybe answers them himself.
Yeah, that's all I wrote down with him was those couple key things, and I got his card, and I was going to give him a call this week. Very exciting young gentleman, that's for sure.
Be back. He's hanging out with it's Family Day, Mother's Day, I guess, traveling day back to Toronto. So he's going to maybe try to come in next week, and we will talk about Jonathan Zaid's story because it's pretty big time, you know, with that aspect of what he's got going on. So I'm sure a lot of people in Canada, at least, and maybe even in the U.S., might be able to learn something from the way he did things. He's definitely a unique form of activist.
Impressive, an impressive form. Like for such a young man, you know, not even a real rough looking edge to him at all. He's willing to stand and fight. It's pretty impressive.
Conference, and he's the only card I kept, so that meant something.
Yeah, I was impressed with his story for sure, and I'm always impressed with people like Jonathan, people like Amber, people like Jessica and Samantha that will come and share their stories. Because this is valuable to people to understand and sort of discover, you know, ways. Like, how did it happen for you, Amber? Like, you're out east, you're kind of in this situation, you got pain, things are getting worse. What, you're on pharmaceutical drugs, or you just can't access a lot of cannabis? How did it happen?
Well, I mean, my situation's a little bit different than other people, just because, while I was out east, I was a grower, you know, so I was growing my own weed for my own really personal use. I was making hash. Not too many people out there making ice water hash out there, but I found that really eating hash helped me a lot with my pain. So I was making a lot of edibles with ice water hash that I would make.
THCA.
Yeah, I like that. I love that aspect of the water. You know, a lot of people weren't really around at the beginning of when I released the bags.
Yeah.
But the people who really bought the first bags, there were two groups. They were the extreme head. I mean, the dude that in his group gets on everything before everyone. He's on it. He's, you know, he's experimenting with everything. And those were like a small percentage. But then I had this other group of people, and those were people who were sick. And they were looking to concentrate the medicine because they were like, we get some relief from cannabis, but we're thinking we would get much more if we could get rid of the cannabis and just use the actual medicinal part of the plant, which is 100% truth.
Yeah.
Once you decontaminate and and water hash really changed the game for people because it put it in everyone's hands in a way where you could get this 99% gland head extract, and then you could learn things like, oh, was it grown to perfection, or should I start growing it a little differently? Because, you know, once again, often people when they isolate it, they look at it, it's all heads, and then they go to use it, and it's maybe not as high quality, it doesn't melt as much as they were hoping, and then they ask me, how do I get it to dab? Well, this was before we knew we could squeeze the oil out of it with a hair straightener, but I always just said, grow better weed. You know, it's grow better weed. Focus on your trichomes instead of your vegetative weight and your flowering periods. Just who cares about how long it's been flowering? Just let it flower, and cut it down when it's ready.
Yeah.
Oh, we got someone touching on me. Oh, wow. One of the gentlemen that works with Nicotine from Essential Extracts is just texting me about one of the stories we just talked about and how it's really touched a note with him. He woke up with a headache every day as well. There's all sorts of people that are going through these things. You know, it's a lot of these things can be helped through the endocannabinoid system, through this signaling system that allows the messages to travel easier, unencumbered, and allow that pain, that lingering pain that really only people who have had chronic pain can understand. Because if you've never had chronic pain, let me tell you, you can't fathom it.
You don't want it.
No, exactly. And it's those guys who have a headache every day of their life, and then they hear someone like, oh, I've got a headache. My head hurts so bad. I never get headaches. I hate headaches. It's like, man, listen, just suck it up and enjoy that headache, because I've had it every day for 7 years. I personally did 2.5 years every day with a pounding, like nerve-pinching headache. 2.5 years. Now, cannabis was not what stopped my headaches. Personally, I had a bigger problem. My skeleton had been moved in a way over about a 15-year course after a car accident knocked my hip out of whack, and I created scoliosis in my own spine, and then I got sucked into thinking I had a disease. And then one day I got turned on to hot yoga. My friend Christian turned me on to hot yoga, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, I got a bad back, I got scoliosis. And he says, scoliosis? You know what Bikram says about scoliosis? He says, that's just a disease of laziness. And it was true in my case. I basically sat at the computer for 15 years and let an accident settle in so my whole body compensated and twisted. And it took me 2.5 years of doing that hot yoga every single day before I could literally feel my muscle hold memory long enough that they could pull my skeleton back to where it belonged, which is something, it doesn't matter if you can just go get adjusted by a chiropractor sometime. If you're so out of whack that your skeleton has moved, that is a deeper form of healing that you're going to need to look into. And I tell everyone, no matter what's ailing you, hot yoga regulates the system in a way I can't even explain, just through breath and exercise, balance. It's really, I can't say enough about it. It changed my life. I don't have headaches anymore. Nobody wants headaches.
Well, you know, it's I got into my car accident, bike accident. I crushed 3 vertebrae in my back, and then the next year got into a motorbike accident, pulled out both my arms out of the sockets, pulled out my legs out of the hip sockets, broke my neck and broke my wrist. And the painkillers. I literally had to, the painkillers I had weren't even close. I literally had my girlfriend at the time go get me some heroin from my buddy down in the hood. And when I woke up in the morning to get to a sitting position in my bed, it made me cry like a little baby every time because it hurt so much. And I'd do a little fucking sniff of heroin, and I'd go lay on the couch, and I'd go to sleep. And that was that one for about a month until I healed up a little bit more and could take the pain, and then back on the painkillers. But all of those things were so hard on me, man. They pretty much took away a good 1.5 years solid of my life, maybe 2, of just being in a painkiller fucking buzz and, you know, mask.
I did 3 years more painkillers and masking. What that's like, Darrin.
How about when you guys were at my house and John and Darrin, and then I had my other buddy Romulan Joe was there, and maybe even one other person, and I was like, hey, I just realized something. I think all of you guys have been like crushed at this table right now. And then John was like, yeah, I had this happen. And then Darrin, you said yours, and it was even worse. And then like Joe like blew you both out of the water. A tractor rolled over on top of me and broke every bone in my body.
Yes, every bone in his body.
Holy shit. It's not, hey, listen, you have to have seriously been crushed to out-crush Darrin and John.
We were both sitting there dumbfounded, like, oh,
Like, wow.
what? Like, holy fuck,
Was
dude.
there someone else at the table too? One of my friends that, yes, my friend Aaron that spent 7 months or 3 months in a coma was there too. That got into the car accident and hit the pole and destroyed all his innards.
Yeah.
He was at the table too.
Yeah, it was like the most busted up people you knew were sitting all at the table at the same time. I remember you said that.
Hey, I'd like to give a shout out to the world, a great big happy Mother's Day to all you awesome mothers out there. Thank you for being who you are. Moms rule.
Hell yeah.
Long rip.
Can't do it without the mom.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here without him.
True.
Really? That's what I was doing, talking with my mom in the beginning there. She gave me a quick call. I messaged her, and
Excuse me. The moms. Well, I'm looking forward to an epic brunch with my wife and children today.
I'm going to cook a dinner up for all of my girls.
I'm going to be working on my moms today and giving them a little bit of love and making sure that they're all doing fine. They're all enjoying some nice day this Fontan, and I'll be taking care of those ladies today. I got several of them to look after.
Excuse me. That was a good Mom Day bong rep. On the D to the limonene.
Oh, you got some friends coming, Mark. Next Sunday, is he in the room here with us?
Who's that?
To smoke some hash in a couple of weeks, or.
Oh, yeah, they're there. They're at Tony's place. Rick and Ramon. Ramon's on camera right now. Now Rick's on camera.
Oh yeah, so you guys are when are you guys coming to BC?
Soon.
Soon, yeah, next week.
Thursday, we'll be there.
Thursday, and when you guys will
Wednesday morning.
and how long you here till?
The 15th, 14th, 18th. My bad, our trip got extended.
Yeah, it's going to get extended. That's what happens.
We were supposed to go back on the 14th, but we're going back on the 18th.
Okay, so you'll be there for Sunday then, that Sunday, 17th. We'll do Hash Church or something maybe all together, maybe, if I get down there.
Awesome, dude. That would be so dope.
And pretty much this week, I'm dedicating some serious time into the sugar leaf that I have, the Harmony bud that I have, the Diesel bud that I have, and the OG bud that I have. We're going to bring you down some just from my end, just for me, is going to be some nice stuff. But these guys that are going to be there with us too, it's going to be like it's going to be a hash gathering, I think, of incredibleness. I can't wait.
It's gonna be epic.
And of course, I have a freezer of weed I've been storing for 6 months, so I'll be definitely making some nice bubble for us, my friend. It'd be great to see you.
I'd get on that now if you want it to be dry.
I'll be making it today. It's already in the works.
Yep. I would be on that shit. Get her.
We're
Get
gonna
it done.
do that's the stuff that we like so much in Amsterdam, that number 2 pheno, so that Larry, we're not calling LR Kush.
Yeah. Looking forward to it, man. It's been such an awesome trip. All the
Hey, wait, hold the phone. Aaron is hitting a bowl on Hash Church.
Oh, shit.
Hold the phone. Whoa, my hat's just dropped.
Nice. Nice ripple. Nice pipe. Fancy. Fancy.
Yep. Mother's Day hit out of the gong rig. with some great trichome heavy extraction water hash.
Wow, I can hear the birds outside my door. It's incredible. Awesome. 620 people in Hash Church today. They're waiting for some knowledge drops. What are you going to tell us about that little inhaler you got there?
So I think Etienne knows exactly about these.
Yeah, we've tried those.
So maybe you could tell me a little bit about these, because I know the propellant in it is basic. It's fuck, I'm trying to think about what it's called now.
Stone.
Stone, bro.
Found them to be harsh myself. But like the idea of the delivery system, it definitely they need to work on their labeling. But did try it myself, did get an effect, but it's definitely like Sativex in that result. It has that harsh alcohol for sure.
Right.
Inhale.
Let me pull up my email from this dude, and then I could read you a little bit about what's exactly going on with it. It is a BHO extraction, and it has to be fully soluble to go into the propellant that they're using. I'm actually...
That's really important on the propellant. I've been working on inhalers and why they don't work for about 3 years. So the propellant and the way it actually gets in the capillaries of the lungs is extremely important. So what's the solution they're using? Or are you not allowed to say that?
Hold on.
What was your reaction upon taking a hit?
It gets you high. It's not the best tasting. It definitely tastes like ganja. I can't find the fucking email. I can't pull it up while I'm on this.
I found it sitting very heavy on the tongue for sure. Very oily, very interesting aftertaste, but definitely kind of that alcohol-y aftertaste.
Yeah, definitely tincture style taste. Did you feel the effects?
Yes, I did feel the initial onset, but of course I have tolerance like bull, so it didn't last long for me. But other people who had tried it, but I gave it to someone who had one of my people who has asthma, and he immediately had a reaction, which made I stopped carrying it.
It's funny you say that. So I know a few people that tried it, and they all got high, and then one of my friends had walked into the room. I was at one of my buddy's shops showing this to them. And he walked into the room, and I guess he had asthma. So he took a big old puff off of this. And within 15 seconds, as he was handing me it back, he was falling down, blacking out after one puff. And like...
Similar thing happened to my guy. He took a puff. He said, I'm going to need my inhaler. I have to go. It's at home. And I was like, oh shit, I have to drive you because I can't have you passing out behind the wheel. So that immediately concerned me. If I have somebody with asthma as an inhalant, I immediately pulled it off the, it didn't even make it to the full floor. It was in our trial, but I was trying it, and I didn't like that it wasn't labeled correctly. So for me, it didn't pass that muster because as a patient, I want to know what I'm putting in. If I can't get that or if I can't pass that on to my patients, we're that first line of defense where we have to say that's not going to work. So I hope they work, and I think the concept is good. But if I have somebody who's sick and they immediately have a reaction to it, done deal. I'm sorry. I don't care what you're touting. I can't have any more deaths on my conscience besides my war shit,
So here's a question. I got a question for Horatio. When you're listening to this, because I can only imagine the thoughts in your head, they've taken alcohol, they've taken butane oil, and then they're spraying it into people's mouths. How would you approach that differently?
Well, I mean, the first thing I'm an asthma baby, so as soon as I hear, oh, it tastes tincture, I'm like, you sprayed alcohol into my lungs? what the fuck is going to happen?
me-
And then you
let me pull
literally
up
describe
exactly-
what happened next. People started to fall out because you're huffing. Even if it was clean ethanol that you're huffing, you're getting intoxicated from huffing ethanol. If it's ethanol. It's the kind of thing that makes me so mad that I'll end up inventing the solution just by... Because I also was an asthma child with the inhalers that made me 230 pounds worth of fat from the steroids. So I totally have an upset with anything that goes in your mouth.
Okay. So this is in the email. I asked him, is it an alcohol tincture? He goes, no, but there's a small amount of ethanol. I go, is it a BHO? He has a CO2 and solventless BHO inhalers. I asked him how much materials need to produce for 100 puff. He's like, it's 0.65 grams of extract. So he's flying down on Thursday so I can have a face-to-face. So apparently it could be a CO2 extraction in this thing too.
Now, what would be the safest thing to spray? What would be the best carrier that gets it into your lungs? Here we go. Mark Scialdone, please help us.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
How's that for timing? Okay,
What's up, boys?
welcome.
Good morning.
We're just talking about these sprays, these inhalers. And I guess, I mean, I don't know. I'm not one to judge. I did invite Alex in here as well from Germany. Hopefully he gets that link. I know he had nothing good to say about the Sativex ones as it made his throat bleed.
Yeah, so typically what's used in these inhalers are volatile chlorofluorocarbons, which are the same kind of things that eat away at the ozone layer. They're not very good molecules. They're inert in our bodies, and for most part, they're not absorbed into your body. They're actually just exhaled. So when those people are using, typically it's albuterol or what's called salmeterol, which are the drugs that are in asthma inhalers, are inhaled. They're typically, the vehicle is typically a chlorofluorocarbon, which, yeah, is not the safest of materials to be using. I don't know if that's what's in this.
It could be hydrofluoroalkyl. Alkaline.
Yeah, none of that shit is good to have in your lungs. The thing about the volatile chlorofluorocarbons is they're so volatile that they just get, as you inhale them through the inhaler, it just gets exhaled. There's no time, and they're so volatile that they just get re-exhaled. And so the companies that sell these propellants have to do a lot of safety studies to show that what's being brought into the lungs is exiting the lungs, and there isn't residual stuff that stays in the lungs, because those are not good molecules to have in your lungs, period. Typically what happens before they actually get to the tissue is that the concentration of the albuterol is such that it actually starts to coagulate. And so what happens is that there's a phase separation in your lungs, and that when you exhale, all the chlorofluorocarbon just basically comes out, and it just sort of deposits the medicine left behind, which are typically, again, what are called beta blockers, which are things that relax the smooth muscle tissue in a broncho attack.
So, Mark, I got one question for you, and I think for the other Mark, I believe the answer for the inhalable product is dabs. So that's solved. We all have that solution. I'm like, wait a minute, I know the answer. We're dabbing it. But to Mark Scialdone, what about the fact that when people are using it in combination with cannabis and how cannabis bonds to the lung, do these people factor in that people will hold it in to try to get higher than the average person, and maybe that's why they're getting intoxicated side effects? When you take like an asthma inhaler, it's an in and out experience, but when you're trying to save the weed, you'll pretty much go blue if you can.
Yeah, I mean, holding in your dab as long as you can may not be the wisest thing to do. I mean, and you're supposed to, like, that first flavor of your dab you're supposed to let go really quick because you get that nice breath of exhale from the first hit of terps.
Well, I meant with the steroid thing that Aaron's showing. That's where I was worried. I'm like, if you hold that in, that could get really gnarly. And even if they are using CO2, it doesn't mean they're not using ethanol to take out the opacity, so it becomes clear again. So there's still the reintroduction of ethanol.
You can definitely taste the ethanol, without a doubt. It was definitely present.
Yeah.
And the inhale and exhale is definitely, because it's an inhaler, you hit it like an inhaler, so it's a deep hit when you hit it. So
Right.
everything about it just made you want to exhale, and everybody I gave that to, unfortunately, I'm not trying to diss these people. I think, again, the concept is good. It's just it's not there yet.
Yeah, hey, and honestly, they might be listening to this, and you could take it as, okay, maybe we should look at some different carriers, some different ways, some different materials to do this with. I mean, it is definitely a cool concept. It's just, and we're just an opinion. We're not anything other than that. You guys are sharing you, Etienne, are sharing firsthand knowledge from it, so that's of value. You're not, and you own a company that could make money selling it.
I
So
mean,
you're being honest.
There's different carriers. You can put this shit in nasal spray, bro. You know,
exactly. Of course.
There's all these different ways to do it, and these guys say to hold your breath for 10 seconds.
Not going to happen. No, it's not going to happen.
I mean, like, literally, my boy blacked out and cracked his head.
Oh my God, dude.
You know, and so everybody in the room took a hit, and then he was the one that had asthma. And we have it all on security camera footage. Like the moment I handed it to him, the moment he took his hit, to the moment he fell, in all different angles too. It's horrible.
Was he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. He woke up laughing, bro. That's the crazy shit. He was all giggly and happy, bro.
Do you remember? Oh no, you wouldn't have been there. But here's a good Eagle Bill story, just for a random side note. Eagle Bill, maybe 1995 or 96. We're on the top floor of the PAX Party House. Jack Herrera's there, and Ed Rosenthal's over there, and it's a whole real kind of fun little. I've only gone that was probably my first.
That was 95.
Yeah, so 95, and Eagle Bill's got his huge vaporizer. Yeah, Jack's daughter was there that year too, and he's got that big glass vaporizer with the heat gun, and he's vaping people out, and this dude is standing there on the big glass rod, and he's just like, Eagle Bill's like, yeah, just take a big one, take a big one. He's like blowing this vapor into this big thing, and the guy gets this huge vapor rip, and I guess before he finishes, he cracks the glass arm off the pipe and goes, timber. He doesn't say that, but he goes like that and just smokes the floor. Boom, he's out, like as though he's sleeping, not having a seizure or anything like that, but literally looks like he was sleeping like a baby.
Well, you have to understand, people, that Eagle Bill's bong was approximately 5 to 6 gallons
At least.
of air.
At least.
That shit was huge, bro.
Inside of it with a bowl about a half a foot long.
Yes.
With very thick glass. So it's not a small hit, people. This is serious concentrated cannabis he was shooting down your lungs.
So without even blinking, Eagle Bill, when the guy hits the floor, and everyone's like, oh, and then Eagle Bill, real loud, and the PAX Party House got real quiet when this guy hit the floor, because it was small up there. He goes, you see that, ladies and gentlemen? The amazing medicinal properties of cannabis. That man hasn't slept in 4 days and was suffering from insomnia. Fuck, man, the whole place erupted and laughed. The guy woke up while everyone was laughing. Eagle Bill just replaced the arm because it broke before the ground, so we just pulled the piece out and put another one in, and it was like, I was like, wow, like that was an incredible way of turning an intense moment that people didn't really know how to react to. And that was my first cup. At that point, I hadn't really myself knocked 30 or 40 people out in that very same building.
But that was Eagle Bill, though. Bill was just that guy. Get everyone high. Hi, how's it going? He'd rather meet you by putting his pipe into your mouth and then saying hi, and then he'd speak to you as he's giving you your head.
And he had one set up that year at Lucky Mother's, a smaller version that he had set up there that was just, I'll tell you, that's vaporizing. They sure went backwards for a few years.
Isn't that when Lucky Mother's did, that was the can where the cannabis was inside the soup tin?
Yep.
And you had to open the soup tin and it came with papers and your weed and everything inside of it?
Totally. That was indeed. Ah, the cannabis cup. I wonder when Todd's going to get in here. He'd have some fun stories.
You know, I think Don somehow was one of those people that got gotten by Eagle Bill too.
Really?
Yeah, I think I remember hearing some kind of story about that. I remember Bong Guru. You remember Bong Guru?
Of course. I see it. I saw him not too long ago.
Yeah, I think he's on in Hawaii or something, or on some island.
Exactly.
somewhere.
That's where he is. He's over there for sure. I saw him in Toronto last year at the Champs show.
Yeah, that dude's an amazing guitar player, bro. I remember him giving Don a ruthless hit of some Shishkaberry, I think it was, or some shit.
Well, you know what? Although Eagle Bill definitely had the title for getting people super vaped out, I think for years, and maybe someone can correct me if they want to, the most terrifying rip that you could take at the Cannabis Cup was the Trichome Challenge. And
at the gray area.
Yeah, or sometimes he did it at his booth, or it was just a crazy Adam Dunn concept where he taped he duct taped. It was so classic.
It was duct tape.
Video camera to the bottom of this big, like, sometimes it was like a 2-footer, but sometimes it was bigger, like a 3 or a 4-footer. And you'd sit in this chair, and he'd push the video on the camera, and then basically, do
bowl full of trichomes that you had to clear the bowl, and you had to hold it in you had to hold your composure for a minute.
Yeah, hold it in for like 10 seconds and remain cool, calm, and collected without coughing for a minute. And that was something that when I was younger that I read in high school.
Not good either.
And that was something that I did with my friends that used to come over. I used to have the special pipe just for the Trichome Challenge. And I'm telling you, my friends that would come down from up north to visit me, they would call me from the side of the road after they left my house to be like, yo, bro, can you come meet me and pick all this shit up because I'm scared to drive. I'm too high. And so many different people I gave this challenge to, and the only fool that passed this challenge was Don. I mean, he stepped up every single time he came over to my house, and he failed every single time, and finally, one day it was just like, boom, he champed it, bro. And he was the only person who's I don't know, I don't think I gave him anything for winning, but I think it was just he was the only person to ever successfully do it in front of me.
That's awesome.
Come on, you gave him your undenying love, Aaron. Don't lie.
I gave him a great deal that day.
Welcome, Todd.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mark.
Morning, Todd.
What up,
Secret
Todd?
has me sleeping in late these days.
What's going on, Todd? Are we partying in the fucking Coliseum?
Dude, so, Mark, the day after I was supposed to sign the contract, and the city attorney freaked out. And now I've got to become Joe Political and try to find support from the city council to try to get into the Coliseum because the city attorney's office decided that they can have a beer fest where they advertise it with a topless white male sitting at a fucking clay wheel spinning a beer mug while topless licking a keg of beer. That's okay for the Coliseum, but
show them the picture.
Showing up freaked out.
Damn, dude, that's rough.
What about the rave? What about the raves they throw there?
They haven't thrown a rave in a while.
It's cool to be popping pills in the Coliseum and getting smashed, but cannabis is not allowed.
Well, they were nice. The Coliseum people have all been great, and actually, the Coliseum people counter difference between a Snoop Dogg concert or a Willie Nelson concert. Why are we going to treat this differently? It's the same crowd, and they didn't have any good reason. So I'm actually gonna try to do it a little politically because this is a big show and it brings a lot of money to the area, and I think that over a long period of time it would be really good for LA to have it. I mean, on so many levels, cannabis in California is synonymous. So I don't know what they're afraid of. Middle-aged hippies showing up and doing dabs. Come on. So I won't give up.
Don't give up.
It's just tight because they gave me the go-ahead on January 16th.
Sorry to interrupt, but I got a story I wanna tell here.
Awesome. Thank you, Darrin. That's what you got to do sometimes, man.
Aileen, you want to sit here? She's a little bit nervous, but it's okay. It's just life, man.
Camera shy.
She's camera shy, but she's got a story. Starts from about 9 years old, and if you want, go for it, Gayleen. This is Gayleen, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, welcome, Gayleen.
Hi. I started smoking when I was 9 with anger issues, temperament, whatever you want to call it, and I thought, oh, this is cool. I'm like everybody else. I'm normal. I'm not so hyper and whatever. And I'm now 52 at the end of this month, for the record. And then from that, I got tummy issues, and I thought, oh, great, now I can't eat great like everybody else. And I smoked it, and I really smoke good now, and life is good. I still get issues, but it's controllable in my tummy. Then, at the age of midlife, you get that menopause, but then it had to hit me severely. And the doctor said, right on, because I'm using my weed, but they can't give it to me. And they said, right on, because it's helping me in my menopause very, very much.
It helps you very much.
Oh, yes, and it's nasty. Like, it hit me major.
And you're not taking any, you don't get a monthly shot or any of the stuff that they try to give you.
And they told me it'll cost me $800 for their stuff that could cause you a heart attack, a stroke, or breast cancer.
Or you could just smoke some weed.
And smoke and do what I'm doing. Maybe I got to smoke a little too much, but he told me the price is about the same.
You don't just smoke it, though.
I eat it. I have
to
eat it too so I can sleep well and have a good night's sleep because that's important.
And your brother?
Well, then my brother, he had passed away almost 7 years ago from ALS, and everybody and myself noticed I have this quiver in my bottom lip. So they made me go to a doctor to get diagnosed that I am on the pre-start of Parkinson's disease. So in my meantime, I found out through all this walk of my life that I've been beating Parkinson's and keeping it away from attacking me big time because of my marijuana, smoking, and eating.
And she eats a copious amount every night on a cracker that would probably take every single person watching this show and floor you, put you right to sleep for probably 2 days. And she takes it every single night.
And it's very much needed because if I go without it, then my whole system starts feeling rocky. And as soon as I'm on my proper medication of the medical marijuana, I'm great.
And you started taking this other stuff, this LHO activated lobster butter, I think is called, or something. And it's you like it even better. It helps you like a little bit more, right?
Oh yes, my nights are so restful.
Yeah. So let's
that LHO is medicinal for certain.
Are you eating it by any chance, or are you smoking it at night? I know Horatio would probably really want to know that.
Speak up, John.
With the lobster butter, I know Horatio was telling me that I should be ingesting it instead of smoking it, and I was wondering, are you ingesting it, or are you just smoking the lobster butter?
He's ingesting it.
That's what I was curious about.
On a minute, are you taking as much as you do the other oil, or just a little bit, like just a little bit? She's the microdosing type thing, right? And you're also taking the other oil too?
Yeah.
And the other oil too. So she's getting them both in there, and fucking it's working.
Yeah, I smoked all mine. I never had a chance to ingest it, but so that's why I was curious.
Oh no, it works good eating it. It really does. I find that's my best sleep is eating it.
I'll make a cracker or something. That's great.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna try
How much do you consume of the LHO, Galen, when you, like, how many of the mLs? Or whatever it's in, yeah, mLs. It's like a little...
I'd say probably 2 mils, 3 mils tops. Because you put like the amount that we're doing on a little dab times 2 little dabs.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Horatio, now we're asking you, is that a good dose?
Well, that's what I've told everybody, is to start where you would start if you would dab. So, you know, if you want to be bravado and you're a crazy dabber, and you might have the tolerance to match, you might not. But for everybody else, that's what I told Darrin. I'm like, give her the size dab you would give her. So if it would choke her out physically, it might green her out internally. So you found, you know, your sweet spot, and you can work from there. But the main thing I'm happy about is the economy of how little you can use to get as far as you can go. That's kind of why I have an issue with smoking it, John, is you could have had, you know, 21 days of pain relief. That would have been continuous throughout the hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Someone was asking how they can get their wife back from being able to hit dabs because she ate a bit too much oil, and now she's afraid to eat it. So my reply was micro dabs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big fan of micro dabs. A lot of people who are afraid of the dabbing culture, they're afraid of it because they cannot hit even what one person would consider a medium-sized or even a small dab. They need a fraction of that to be able to have the experience so that it's good. And so I think it's important for people to respect that in people that maybe don't dab all the time. It's like if you didn't, you know, it's just let them, it's so enjoyable if you get to the right, it's such an easy thing to titrate dose as well. So why not start small and just climb rather than you know, catapult yourself up higher than you want to be in a short time. And it's very possible to happen with these concentrates.
Oh, I had it happen to me. I went and visited a friend in Louisiana a couple years ago, and I brought my rig with me and gave him and his wife one hit, and literally a small hit compared to what I would take. And my partner, who's sitting here with me, was with me and can attest, within 5 minutes they were both puddles of themselves. They had told me also they had stopped smoking a year before and they had got into running.
After they took the dab.
After they took the dab, yeah. And they basically went completely paranoid. She threw up. I tried to get her to her bed, threw up on the way to her bed. And what started as just a nice kind of hello greeting turned into a nightmare situation in the span of just one hit each. So I'm all a big fan ever since of micro-dabbing people who have never done it before, because it is literally like taking a shot of Everclear, and if I had not witnessed that myself and had to bring them both down, you know, because it's then your responsibility once you get them there is to do your best to get them to safety. We got them to safety, and that was basically it. And they have sworn off cannabis because they got so high. They were wondering, what is this narcotic you just gave me? It is way too much. So, yeah, be careful out there, people. I've seen it firsthand, and it's not fun. It is terrifying.
Yeah, and we don't want to turn people off. We want people to enjoy the things that we enjoy about it. So it's like, why not turn them on in a way that is respectful? And I'm all about the microdab.
Pretty much that's what I do all the time, microdabs.
Constantly.
I burn everything in small series of fires.
Ah, yes, getting rid of the evidence, as we used to call it. Hey, welcome, Ken and Jibs. What's going on, boys?
All right, they're unmuted.
What's up? How you doing?
Good to see you guys. You know, I almost put my shirt on today.
Well, there's this is a legendary hash church today on Mother's Day. We've got legends in the house.
Wicked.
And I wanted to share with you guys a little trick that I've been doing with the new D-nail, this silicone carbide. So you know how I always like down temping the quartz, or like heating up the quartz and then letting it counting it down 36, 40 seconds to hit it. You with me so far? Yeah? Yep. Okay. Yep. So if you look up on the SIC D-nail specification charts for retention and heat, which they posted on their website, at 825 degrees on the D-nail, it self-cleans. And so what I do is I take it to 825, and then if you look at the chart retention, it basically, here, I'll send you the link so you could post it. It tells you how long it'll hold its retention heat. And what's really nice about this is you can take it to 825 on the D-nail, and you flip off the back, and you digitally watch it until it drops to 550. Then hit your full melt or whatever dabs you want, and then flip the switch, and it goes right back up to 825, digitally simulating the torch effect and having that perfect down temping SIC dab every time. Thought it was taste SIC, silicone carbide.
Okay.
You would know that too, but I took my digital reader, torched it, read it, and then counted 40 seconds and found it was between 550 and 461. And so I'm just stimulating that right now, and basically Ken's going to try his first digital down temp.
Dude, the SICK is so awesome. There's no not loving the silicon carbide. Sorry, I had to mute you so I could talk, otherwise I reverberate through your mic. I'll unmute you now.
Yeah, so basically it's 1 minute and 36 seconds, and it's pretty much perfect. So you go from 550 down, and then click it back up, and it cleans the nail, and it's perfect every time. Every time.
What's the jump? 550?
550. You can go lower if you want. I went all the way to 5.
No, that's 515.
I went to 515, right? 5. Yeah, it was 550. It's just straight on. That's full melt, right? Yeah.
Hey Tony, how you like?
Go ahead, Etienne.
How do you like the new nail tone?
Well, I like to play around with things for a while, and like I said last week, I wasn't educated enough, so they sent me out a flat coil. So now I have the flat coil set up, and it took me a minute to figure out how to clean it, and so that's why I found these little. That's why I looked at the charts online, and then I saw different temperatures and what the dish and the insert and what temperature that was at. So that really helps out quite a bit when you want to look at a chart for those type of heat points. And so it took me a minute. I couldn't figure out how to clean it. And so then I just went up to 825, just left it, and it just completely self-cleaned. So then I was like, oh, I switched it off, and I started thinking about, well, I don't want to. I wanted to digitally stimulate the effects, because I actually like the taste better on the silicone carbide than I do on titanium or on quartz. It just needs to be at the right temperature, and then you just needed to know how to clean it.
I've been very happy with mine.
I mean, it's hooked up to a mothership as well. So, and I'm putting in 6-star only, 6-star and 5-star only hash. Right, exactly. I mean, it can't really get any better.
Are you hitting it right off the carbide, or do you have the sapphire insert in there?
No, I use the straight carbide. I found that it just, I don't know, it seemed to taste a little better. Ramon and Rick and all of us tried it. To me, it seemed to taste better, but maybe that's because we were using like a rosin hash or something. Yeah, maybe. I mean, what's your opinion on that? What do you think? Better for dry tip?
I like them both. It's, I have a hard time really picking a solid favorite. I do when I have a silicon carbide one here that works not with a flat but a 20 ml. So I had this bottom piece added to it so you can put a coil right around it. This one has no sapphire insert. It's just a silicon carbide, and I do quite enjoy it. It's a tasty as hell hit. I find in particular if you do low temp hits with this, you can take a hit forever. Have you noticed that?
Forever. Yeah, that's why I was saying if you keep that nail at like even at 600, you keep it at like 575 to 600, you literally can get 10, 15 hits in a row. I mean, it's also sitting on that flat coil. Yeah, it looks like, so Jibs just hit that around 5. He took like probably a 1/10 of a gram. This is like he's at 5. I turned it back. Oh, you turned it back up. Okay, so now you're hitting it on the way up too. All right, well that's interesting. He's hitting it on the down and on the way up.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I got this. I got that match with this one.
Yeah. But I will tell you that the second version. I know I have the second version compared to your first version. And the silicone I haven't played around with, but now that I know the temperatures, because there's a radiant temperature from the actual silicone carbide that pushes through that insert.
Yeah.
So, you can certainly, I could certainly see it being good for like dry sift, like if you wanted to just go dry sift right on it. Or a full melt right on it.
Right.
Damn, dude. These guys brought everything. Should we order those little burrito things? Yes.
Of course you should.
Burrito thing. Oh my god.
Some of those too.
We got some of Cuban's ultraviolet.
It's from Cuban Hash Queen, actually.
Oh, Cuban Hash Queen. Yeah. Okay. This is the wife.
Representing.
So maybe I could drop the sapphire in there on some dry sift. Maybe film. Show you what it looks.
Yes, I got to mute your mic when you're not talking though, because we're getting the wickedest feedback. I don't know if your speakers and your microphone are very, very, very close, but
try it now.
Okay.
Is it echoing?
Yeah.
It is. Okay.
All right. Well, Tony's figuring that out. We can discuss what molecule Mark is holding in his avatar. Can anyone guess? What's he got there?
I'm not chemist enough. I can't guess. It could be tweezers. It could be. it could be a hat pin.
I can't see the rest of the molecule.
It's probably his molecule from one of his patents. Yeah.
I'm just gonna answer Grateful Dead.
It's the spirit molecule? Holy shit, we said it at the same time?
That was hilarious. Jinx, Horatio, you owe me a hit.
That's just gumdrops and swizzle sticks, that's all.
Gumdrops and swizzle sticks. All right. I'll accept that. I'm hitting the silicon. All this talk of silicon carbide nail. What are you guys hitting at? 470? Oh, they went away for a bit, I think. Oh, no, they're there. What did they say they were hitting at? Between 470 and 550?
Yeah, around 5. I'm doing the same thing. I got the parchment. I got the flat iron. I got some hash. I got the D-nail right here. And I'm just setting it up. I just don't have the silicone thing. I'm pretty sure.
The thing we're talking about?
Yeah, I got a quartz.
I'm just bugging you. Quartz is great. I just unplugged my quartz. I was hitting it all morning. It needs cleaning. But the silicon carbide is a beauty. I'll tell you, it's so tasty.
So pour some hash into some parchment.
Have a little rip of some D420K here.
Where's Darrin? The squish. Everybody's so quiet.
Hey, what carb cap did you get with that silicon carbide now?
Oh my god, this was.
Tony, did they send you a carb cap with your silicon carbide nail? This is the one they sent me.
Titanium that if it falls, it'll break your pipe.
Looks like a lot of carb caps are. That's why I used the drop down, so it's away from the pipe.
Okay.
Can't wait to see the new design, though. I love that D-Nail takes it so serious in regards to how like different things hit surfaces and then how they evaporate and what temperatures that they all happen and all the different surfaces. I don't really know a company more than D-Nail putting in the work in regards to trying to find those things out.
Yeah, their continuation of research has always been commendable because they're always pushing themselves and pushing the industry, which, I mean, how can you fault anyone for that? Because they're only helping us get better hits.
Yep, I agree.
I'm on the countdown. I'm on 742 right now. Like a 420 there, but I'm doing this 500 countdown thing here. Just saying. Gotta try.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm curious on the flavor, so it'll stop at 5.
What is lobster butter? Well, I guess it's like a name for one of Horatio's LHO products now. Did you name that, Horatio?
No, that's the term. That's the brand name for the BHO equivalent. That would help people. So for people who don't know or only know that, they would get an instant sense of what it was. So the lobster butter is just them coining the term off the off-yellow appearance of the clear. But it's not my brand name. I just stick to activated LHO.
Nice.
It's really good when you dip it with dry sift.
And no lobsters were harmed in the making of that lobster.
No. So I do like lobster. I'm just counting down with you guys. You know, something to do.
Counting down. What are you puffing over there, Aaron?
Some dry sift, some Cuban.
Some Cuban dry sift.
Resembles Chris, or Mark up the road sort of resembles. Not identical.
Isn't the lobster butter, isn't that something that's made by the Clear?
I was telling you that when you were talking.
Yeah, I can make it. That's what I made with out of LHO. To treat that kid's cancer I was asking about a few 100 episodes back.
And that's their raw, right? The lobster is like their raw version without any added terpenes?
Exactly. That's the only one I do.
Yeah, that's like I kind of like that product, but once they add those terpenes into it, it kind of ruins the whole thing for me.
It's because of their intention. You could see how they made it, and instead of eating it and saving the world, it was like, hey, we could modulate this and make a mint because it hits so hard, it'll be like a different strain, and then they went at it, and that's why they have that reputation.
Hey, have any of you seen this new awesome packaging for CO2 oil? There's this company doing this thing called Sacred Serum, and it's like this metalish. You open it, and then this tip is stainless steel, and you click it. I don't know if you guys can see it, and the oil starts to come out just like it was. Pretty amazing. And the stuff is good. And you can dab it, put it in your joint, however you can use it.
Yeah, I've seen that one, Todd. I've seen a few different versions.
These things are very cool, man. It takes the mess out of it for sure.
Turn it up.
Yeah, I think this thing's great. Throw it in your pocket and no one would be the wiser.
Fill it up with rosin and just squish it out.
I would fill it up with something other than this, but it's good. It's really good stuff. I mean, it actually is pretty good. It's just not my total cup of tea.
So I went down to 500. Now I'm heating it back up to get the rest of it. Doing the.
Hey, Mark, what temperature do you have your new D-nail at?
Which one?
This is the flat one, the new one that Tony was showing you?
Yeah, this one.
Are you using that one too? You're just using it with a slightly different coil, right?
Yeah, I have a 20 mil coil on there.
What temp you at?
The one I got, like, I just brought it down to 500.
Mine is set at 800. Too high?
Well, no, not necessarily. It's try all your flavors. Just right now with silicone, Tony had come in and said he was hitting around 500, so I was like, I'll hit a few low temp dabs at 500 off my silicone carbide nail.
I'm going to order one of those up. Those are that's my next order. I got a whole bunch of stuff from D-Nail now, so I gotta do a video, I guess, on a sesh on every type, every quartz, just to try it myself.
That's what I did. I literally did a video where I had a silicon carbide, I had titanium but with a sapphire insert, and then a quartz bowl, and basically went through and was hitting. I wanted to hit like a bunch of different hashes, and I didn't realize, once again, like when you and I did the video, Darrin, where we sat down and there was like, I was like, let's just do one of each, you know, let's rip each one or whatever. And you're like, yeah, let's do that. And then we opened them up and there was like 11 of them. So our video was literally like us chain smoking 11 bong rips of full melt dry sift. That really,
and then at the end, you're like, oh yeah, and so now we're gonna take the silicone carbide and run through all of these one more time. It was on the 9th or 10th toke. And I fucking fell off the chair laughing because it was so fucking funny. There was no way there was going to be another 11 fucking dabs happening after that.
No, not in the 40 minutes that we took them in.
No.
That's just ridiculous. No, this is not a D-Nail commercial, Bumpasaurus, but you know, we could call it electric nail if you want.
I did the low dab on the quartz at 500. It was.
Sorry, Johnny, I was just talking. D-Nail is in the middle of basically forwarding the motion of the technology of these tools that we use. They're the ones that are focused on coming up with new surfaces for us to hit. So, you know, if some other company wants to do that, then we'll talk about them. Go ahead, Johnny. Just was replying.
This is what we like to use, so why not talk about it?
Yeah, we're not sponsored. I'm not sponsored by. I buy things because they work. I'm always trying new things all the time. I've tried all the vaporizers through the years, and I just go with what works. As people are in the chat saying, "Oh, you guys are sponsored by D-Nail, etc., etc." It's like, no, I've tried different nails along the way. It's just this one works consistently, and I've been using it now for years. So I promote what I use, just like you guys do, right?
Well, the stoned video game nerd says, I love my D-Nail, as in me, Bubbleman, but it's so expensive. And he says he could solder the same stuff together for like 20% of that money. So let's just go through how ridiculous that statement is that he said. Basically, D-Nail just isn't a company that's soldering stuff together. That's what we're talking about right now. They're the company that's working on different surfaces for us to hit our resins off of. And if once, maybe stoned video game nerd, once you hit the silicon carbide, you'll see that there is a taste difference that cannot be denied. The terpenes are affected differently than when they are hit onto quartz or titanium. And so a company like D-Nail is the company that's forwarding that motion. So,
Mark, you showed me a chart. Maybe you could send the link up on or whatever, where the airflow of even how everything's working with the D-Nail. Is such a science with every part of it. It's why not promote it?
Yeah,
It,
to be honest, that was enough. I'm just like, the next thing he says about it, I'll just put a little silence on him. But that was enough for me. I replied.
I even, I bought one of the first vaporizers that was those, the little soldering iron with the bowl on top you screwed on, and if you left it plugged in too long, it was fucked and everything else, and you didn't know how long to leave it in. It was just a contraption. And I also remember going down to the melting point and buying one of those volcanoes for, how much were they selling then for? $1,200 or $1,400? Or
yeah, they were.
As soon as I went in there, that's when I first met you. That was the first meeting, and you put some herbs, some shitty leaf into the bowl. We did the volcano vaporizer, and I dropped fucking the cash on it right then and there, and had one, the first one in Prince George, because I eat everything. What's that, buddy?
What did we hit? Like mint?
No, we hit some bud. No, not bud. It was leaf. You showed me. Like, you were like, look at this leaf, man. It's garbage. Put this in here and have a taste. And I think it was Sweet Island Skunk. SIS. And it tasted
Sweet Skunk. Everyone always mixes up the island part. I always had the Breeder Steve cut, which is just Sweet Skunk.
Okay.
Then Jordan from the islands cut it with some indica or an Afghani, and then it was the island Sweet Skunk. We would have hit for sure the Sweet Skunk.
Yeah, well, that's then what we did, and it just tasted like the best hash that I ever fucking tasted for the first time in my life. So I picked one up, and then when I smoked on the D-nail, when I smoked out of the mothership, out of yours, I liked the pull of the mothership. I like the quality of the glass. I respect the art put behind it and the workmanship. The D-nail, the science they're putting behind it. Why wouldn't I promote it and everything else? They're fucking awesome, first-class products, and I think everybody would agree. That's all.
Yeah, it's definitely an availability, right? It's there if you want it. I don't even sell them, so it's like I just direct people to the D-nail website.
Like even the Roar.
I don't even have one.
I like the pull of the Roar, and I bought that nice Roar with that set with the striker on the side of it. First one in Canada.
Yeah, the old match striker. That was back in the day when we were hitting bowls with matches.
Yeah, wood matches, yeah.
Yeah, the old wood matches. That was inspired by SKunkman Sam for certain. For certain. Hey, how's it going, Jake?
Really good, Mark. How's it going, brother?
Good to see you, man.
You too.
How are things up there? Pretty good?
The weather is beautiful. 24 degrees, sunny, all week.
Starting to get warm up there, though, huh?
Yes, it is.
Man, I'll tell you. Yesterday was a weird day for me. Had a weird experience. First, I put on a shirt that I haven't put on in a long time, and it was my father's shirt, and it was one of his Ottawa Fire Department shirts. It's got like a little emblem, and people always double take thinking it's a cop emblem because I see them do it all the time. It makes me chuckle a little. So it's my father's fireman shirt, and I'm driving my daughter home, and we're talking about sort of motorcycles, and she's talking about how my mom and my wife don't like them, and they freak them out, and they just wish that I didn't like them. And we're kind of like, my daughter's like, come on, it's not that dangerous. Like, it's like, I like motorcycling. I think it's kind of fun and whatnot. And we come around the corner on the highway, and traffic is stopped dead. And it's a terrible motorcycle accident. This guy has hammered into the back of a car that was out of gas, going probably 100, with him and his old lady on the bike.
Wow.
Yeah, and it had just happened. Like, ambulance wasn't there yet. Just only RCMP was on site, and they had helicopters flying above to try and land on the highway to air vac these people out to the hospital. It was pretty weird, man. It was just a weird. Oh, and then I'm supposed to go tomorrow and pick up my son's new dirt bike.
Oh yeah.
And I have all this. It's just a weird. It's like I'm not trying to see signs or anything, but wow. Holy shit.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, we can't live in a box forever and be safe, even there, right?
No, for sure not. But I'll tell you, oof, man.
Yeah.
Poor
Just
people.
let
I
me
really hope they're okay.
Scary.
Yeah, totally scary, man. Just like on a beautiful day, out for a ride. You know, out for a ride. It just goes to show how crazy life is and how you really should
How fragile life is.
appreciate the people in life.
Yeah.
I think that's the message of Hash Church today. The message is love your friends and family. Let them know.
As much as you can.
Yeah.
Enjoy every day.
Enjoy every day.
Yeah, totally, man.
Galen says this too.
And that we're not promised tomorrow.
No, that's for sure.
100%. So, you guys, a guy named Aaron White, he kind of turned me on to this, and this is just a little garlic press. And this one here has got a little salt like this in here, and I put a little bit of tin foil in the bottom, and I've been putting like sugar leaf and all of that really airy bud that doesn't press out. Put a little tin foil in here. I press it rock hard, and I get these little rock hard little slabs, and this presses out rosin really nicely. So now I'm just getting all this swag I got lying around now and pressing the shit out of this. From this guy just sent me a link. He's like, yeah, check this out. And I'm like, I got one of these things in my drawer. And so I've been doing this like last night and this morning, and I kind of want to just share it. That guy turned me on to it, and it's kind of like, I'm sure something else will come up with it, but it's just another little way, guys, of you know, that all that little bottom of the bag, I can now press really hard, and I get these little chips, and it presses out. Yeah.
That's some of that airy bud that we have doesn't press out.
This is what this is. This is actually the Jamaican. I've never done it before. I was just sitting here thinking about it. It's airy. I haven't pressed it. So, you know what? I figured I'd just give it a shot. So, cool stuff. You know?
Good fun. Thanks for sharing, Johnny B. I wanted to hit sublimator rips today, but I plugged my sublimator in and it didn't. I don't know what's going on with it.
No, it just turns off every like 15 minutes.
No, I was using it for a few days and now it won't turn on, so I'm thinking I might have blown a fuse or done something inside. Free Delisi. Free Delisi. Yeah, that's what this is brought to you by Free Delisi. It's an outrage. Also brought to you by Amber. Let her live where she wants to live and still use cannabis as a medicine.
Oh, I heard the sizzle.
Here, here.
My God.
Yeah.
FreeDelisi.com. A man should not die in prison for cannabis. Please go sign this petition and spread the word. Free Delisi, Free Delisi. Incarcerated since 1989. That's when I met my wife. It was a long time ago. Damn.
I'll bring you down some genetics again, buddy, when I come back down the next time.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about. You got the great genetic drops. Nice, healthy cuts.
Roots.
Roots.
Yes.
The whole 9 yards. You are the quality, let me tell you.
I figured you'd like that.
Yes, I do. Absolutely. I appreciate that more than you can imagine. That's very generous. I appreciate that.
Oh, they're gonna be happy, fucking happy. They're gonna be plants. Fuck, I'll have to bring a trailer. Fucking haul them down in a little mini greenhouse.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna call me over. I'm gonna fucking keep going right till I get to your place.
It reminds me of that Howard Marks quote from his infamous book, Mr. Nice, which is, there are two types of dealers, those that require forklifts and those that don't. Howard, of course, required them. Nice. First Dead Show in 1989. Excellent. Very good.
It's Mother's Day today. I have my smoker smoking over there with a big brisket in it and a bunch of ribs.
Getting it all Mother's Day'd up?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Ooh.
I'm
this afternoon.
I'm taking my wife to a like 49-course buffet at the Seven Sails in Vancouver. It's like the most ridiculous. I'll take pictures. You can. There's chefs that stand behind all these different little tables. and like tuna sushi and like just the most ridiculous. I can't even eat a lot. I'll eat like 3 things and be like, I'm full. But like a person that could eat a lot. Yeah, Darrin, Darrin, you don't even know what you would do at this place, dude. You would be the dude.
I would eat everything.
Oh my God, it would put you down.
A good Mother's Day.
This is your Jamaican.
The Charburator.
I would eat everything.
The Charburator. Aaron knows. Aaron,
Yeah.
Jamaican raw. Jamaican. I tried pressing it before. I put it in this little hash press, and I'm gonna dab some Jamaican rosin. So I'm like super excited because yeah. If this
What
thing,
is the Charbinator?
Huh?
What's the Charbinator?
you don't know what the Charburator is?
The Charbinator? No, I want to hear it.
That's private.
It's a private joke. You gotta share it now, man.
It's not on Hash Church. I don't have to.
Yeah, right. You can't do it on Hash Church.
Personal joke.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think I figured it out anyways. I'll just keep my mouth shut now.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys were funny. That's characters.
Oh fuck! When I want it, when the food is on point and even above, I will eat beyond what I'm able to. I can. I don't know how, but I do. And then I have something else on the way home, a Wendy's burger or something.
What?
Yeah, I like the grease, I guess. Yeah, it's 100% Canadian beef, man. I like it.
One of the guys in chat just was like, why would you tell all these people watching Hash Church where you're going to be today? I'm like, I'm not stalked. People don't stalk me.
No. I'm on my knees and I'm for dinner now.
Maybe that one's thinking of doing a little stalking.
One grande says, smoked brisket. Hell yeah.
Maybe I should come down and run security for your buffet, buddy.
You better get on a plane then.
Get a little taste.
You're going to have to move awful fast.
Yeah.
You only got like about
It's an hour flight.
5 hours. Yeah, it's an hour flight. You could if you got a flight right away.
I'll do it.
You'll do it. Zip. Ripping on the ball rig. Those guys are quiet over there, just puffing tough at the Dabs Over Denver episode. This Dabs Over Denver, we're just hitting ships.
I can't wait to share this Jamaican rosin with you, dude, because it is so nice and mellow, relaxing.
I have a few Jamaican plants that I cut down and put in the freezer. Although I did allow them to dry, so I might. Oh yeah, that's funny. I might let it do a dry sift with it.
Sweet.
Dry sift general, holding it down. That's what the chat's saying. We're only going to run Hash Church for about another 50 minutes today. 12 is when I have to go and get ready and go hang out with my beautiful wife that birthed my 3 beautiful children into this world. Can't thank her enough. I'm not. What to hit next on Hash Church here? Dabs, more dabs and dabs?
I'm going to go cook up a nice dinner, a fish and salad, a nice light, healthy dinner for my daughters and my wife for Mother's Day. Hang out.
Nice.
Yeah, it does that once in a little bit. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to sign off, guys. I'm going to go get the fish and the salad and start my Mother's Day.
Thanks for coming in, guys.
Goodbye.
Peace out, man. Good seeing you guys.
Thanks, Jake, Darrin. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day.
Mother's Day, y'all.
You guys. Peace, everybody out there.
Peace, y'all.
Wicked. I'm glad they could come in and hang out for a little bit. Still, I'm still puffing dry sift that Darrin gave me, like, I don't know, it must be months ago now.
I ran out of that like months ago.
Months ago he gave me this, eh? Incredible.
Yeah, I got some. I'm really stoked because I tried doing this Jamaican in the beginning. I got nothing from it, and now with this little press, I'm now getting nice little dabs. Like, it's awesome.
Is it Jamaican strain, or are you just coining it Jamaican because you're pressing the shit together?
No, because Mark gave me this the clone from the seed that he popped that he brought back from Jamaica in 1995.
Right. I thought you were just pressing it all together and calling it Jamaican there for a second.
That's awesome, Aaron.
Did I miss something here?
This is
just Jamaican that hash.
Yeah, he's Jamaican that hash. That's funny. No, that strain was, it's definitely not any pure anything, but it was a lamb's bread, like an older sativa strain that they had taken and they had crossed their favorite like Oregon strain with in the 90s, like the early 90s. I came along, I met this guy, he gave me some bud, and at the time I had rolled a few joints of it. It was so absolutely incredible. I remember it literally like making my mouth numb from the resin that was dripping through the joint. Keeping in mind I'm smoking 3 and 4 gram joints of it, not like pinners or anything, big fat joints, and it's kind of hot and moist, and so it just creates lots of oil. And I had seeds, and I brought them home, and I kept them for like 19 and a half years. And then I went to crack them, and just one cracked, and it was a female, and I've kept it alive, and I've passed it around a few times. I bloomed it. I made some hash. It was super full melt. It's just different. That's all I can say about it. It is different. There's just something about it that's older, and you don't see it around.
It's creamy. Remember, it's creamy.
It is creamy. Yeah, it's creamy.
I just did a beautiful dab, and it's like this old school creamy Jamaican weed. Like, that's what it tastes like.
Fuck. You can have it if you want, Aaron. I mean, I know you got everything else, but who knows? You might find something in it that you like. I don't have any ownership to it. I just collected it and held on to it. I don't consider it mine. I give it away. It's cool. It's something different.
Yeah, I'm going to come up there and grab it and bring it back. Not. Yeah, but I might come up for a few days coming up soon, I think.
That'd be cool.
If I can get away from my girls.
Well, you know where we are if you do.
Yes, sir. It's almost that time to get in the boat, huh?
The boat is. I went to get the boat the other day, and it was all good. And then they did something, and some piece that where my big tower screws into the boat. I guess the bolt.
Yeah.
Broke. So they were like, "Oh, we gotta fix it. We put your tower down, and the bolt broke." And I was just like, "Okay, well, whatever." This is having a boat, right? Before you even take it out, it breaks.
Well, better it breaks on land than out in the sea.
I think so as well. I've had it break out in the sea, and it's not so much fun.
You got to call AAA out there, or what?
No, I've got a lot of friends with boats. A lot of friends with boats in the neighborhood. We usually just call one another. It's $500 if you need your boat towed.
And you get cell phone reception out there, right? So.
Oh, exactly. Yes, happy Mother's Day and welcome, Jen. Jen Doe in the house.
Hi, guys.
How's it going?
Hi, John.
Hey.
Good. Had to ditch the kids for a second. They're taking a little break from Mother's Day.
That's awesome that you come and take a break from Mother's Day and come be in Hash Church with us.
Yeah. Got to be in church. Got to teach them some good morals, all about dedication.
Exactly.
Now I feel guilty. I'm not out there with my wife and kid.
Happy Mother's Day, Jen.
Yeah, my kids usually bring me breakfast in bed, but I think they've finally learned that I don't eat breakfast. So they're going to make me lunch in bed later, I think.
That's always a nice thing, lunch in bed. Hey, that kind of beats breakfast in bed because you get to get back in bed.
Right?
Hey, whatever it is, it's better in bed.
Well, maybe someday they'll roll joints for you and have them all ready for you, and just with a lighter.
As soon as they're old enough. Absolutely. Mom, would you like your bong? Yes, please.
Yes, please grab it for me.
Wake and bake dabs for Mother's Day.
Right? I'll have to go draw or grab the artwork that my daughter did for me. You guys will love it.
Absolutely.
Hold on. Let me go find it. I'll be right back.
It reminds me of Dana's new book that I did a little video on the other day. If you guys haven't seen it, you should try and grab a copy of this. This is hilarious shit. Green Buds and Hash.
Where do you get it?
Dana Larson, Cannabis Culture. They sell it all through Cannabis Culture's website, I believe. Dana Larson also has an email. If you go onto his website, Facebook, LARSEN, you can get it.
He did a Harry Potter book, right?
Yeah, he did Harry Pothead, and I believe one of the characters' names was Bubble Baggins.
I have that book somewhere. I can't find it, but I remember meeting up with Dana and everybody when I was out there, and I linked up with Michelle Rainey back in the day. And, yeah, he gave me that book, signed it. And then I saw this one on, I think it was on your Instagram, Mark. I was like, I got to get that shit.
Yeah, it's definitely worthy. The poems are actually as on point is the art. You know, like the stuff that he says. You want to show your art there, Jen? I was just showing this silly Greens, Buds, and Hash Dana Larson parody.
I haven't seen that, but I love Dr. Seuss. I'll have to get that.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, this is, I don't know how long he'll be able to sell it for, but, you know, the guy's basically telling him that he should use cannabis. He's saying, have glaucoma, PMS, green buds, and hash, have much success. For protection against strokes, it's best to have some potent tokes. If your muscles are not dandy, try some green bud infused candy. For migraine, spasms, even cancer, green buds and hash provide the answer. If you are not feeling right, then have green buds and hash tonight.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. And then listen to what the guy says, who's still anti the herb. It's true, I'm not feeling great. My health's been rather poor of late. My doctor says that I have ills. He told me I should take these pills. I cannot even sleep at night. I never do quite feel all right. It's so on point.
Can you just go through the whole book?
What's that?
I said, can you just go through the whole book for us real quick? I'm really enjoying this.
Well, we can start.
It's fireside readings with Bubbleman.
All right, here we're going to start it. It's like going to take 7 minutes.
Yes.
Would you like green buds and hash? No, I would not, Mr. Stash. Would you like them in a bong? Would you like them all day long? No, I would not in a bong. No, I would not all day long. I do not like green buds and hash. I do not want them, Mr. Stash. Would you like them wrapped in paper? Will you try them now or later? I do not want them wrapped in paper. I do not want them now or later. I do not want them in a bong. I do not want them all day long. I do not like green buds and hash. I do not want them, Mr. Stash. Would you like them in a joint? No, I would not. What's the point? Perhaps you would prefer a puff. Just have one. That is enough. I won't partake, not of a puff, nor of a hoot, nor hit, nor huff. Would you try a tiny toke? No, I don't want any smoke. What if they were vaporized? I've told you no 1,000 times. Could you in a cake or in cookies I can bake? I do not want them in a cake or in cookies you could bake. I do not want them vaporized or other means you have devised. I do not wish to try a toke or otherwise inhale smoke. I won't participate in puffs. You have asked me quite enough. I get no joy from juicy joints. I really do not see the point. I would not like to use the bong. I think that buds and hash are wrong. In a tincture, would you take it? I could show you how to make it. I do not want them in a tincture or in any other mixture. I do not like green buds and hash. I do not want them, Mr. Stash. Why do you care if I try them? Will you profit if I buy them? I offer buds and hash for free. There is no benefit to me. Someone said that you were sick. Green buds and hash might do the trick. Don't you find you're getting thinner with no appetite for dinner? Do you suffer from sclerosis, epilepsy, or neurosis? For all the ills that ail you, buds and hash will never fail you. Have glaucoma, PMS, green buds and hash have much success. For protection against strokes, it's best to have some potent tokes. If your muscles are not dandy, try some green bud infused candy. For migraine, spasms, even cancer, green buds and hash provide the answer. If you're not feeling right, then have green buds and hash tonight. It's true I am not feeling great. My health's been rather poor of late. My doctor says that I have ills. He told me I should take these pills. I cannot even sleep at night. I never do quite feel all right. I will try green buds and hash. I will try them, Mr. Stash. All right, he's going to try them, everyone.
The page flipping, trying to keep up.
Oh my god, I love it.
Hey now, I am feeling good. They worked it just like you said they would. I have never felt this fine. Green buds and hash are quite divine. I will bake a green bud brownie whenever I am feeling frowny. I will try them vaporized. That technique seems very wise. I will take them in a tincture and in every other mixture. Perhaps I would prefer to puff and stop when I have had enough. I will roll some juicy joints and smoke them down to little points. I will toke upon the bong. I will do it all day long. I really like green buds and hash. I do enjoy them, Mr. Stash. Thanks for being so insistent and for being so persistent. My mind and body are improved. My spirit also has been moved. Though I was told they are a sin, green buds and hash are medicine. I'm sorry that I was so hateful. Now I know I should be grateful. Thank you, Mr. Stash. Thank you for green buds and hash. Dana
Oh my
Larson.
gosh, best book ever.
Quality stuff, Dana. I have to say, I was stoked on that book as well. I was a huge Dr. Seuss fan, and to be able to
That was my favorite Hash Church moment ever, Mark. I'm really glad you read the whole book. That was totally cool.
Well,
that
you
was
know,
awesome. Thank you.
It's Mother's Day, and Jen requested it, and she's a mom. What am I going to say? No?
Thank you.
Thanks.
That was the best. So I'll follow it up with my artwork.
That was for the green buds and.
Oh my god.
You heard I was learning how to make glass, so she drew me some artwork.
Oh, that's so cute. That's awesome. Oh, look at that one.
He's like, it's your art.
Microscope.
This one?
Yeah, that third one looked like a microscope almost, like the stand and the eyepiece.
I'm going to have her tell me what to create when I get serious about my business.
Right?
So, oh, that one's a good one. Notice on this one, she's got the nail on top.
Yes, look at that.
I love my...
He knows what's up.
Oh, there you go. Bree's the best. Beast Beetle. I don't know where that came from.
Very cute.
Anyway.
What's better than that, hey?
Right? They're great.
All right, let me see if I can potentially find a link for people that are looking. I think it's Cannabis Culture's website or DanaLarson.com. Yeah, there you go, DanaLarson.com, LARSEN. You can check it out there. Should be able to get an email from him, and you can send him. Oh, Mr. Cookie says you can also get them or order them from VancouverSeedBank.ca. Get your green buds and hash there as well. So there's a couple of spots. Those are all spots that support Dana, and any of those spots is a great spot to get them. So I should have them on my website eventually. I don't right now, but until then you can go to CCHQ, and you can go to the VancouverSeedBank.ca.
I lost Cookie's number.
You lost Cookie's number?
Yes. Tell Mr. Cookie to call me.
All right, Mr. Cookie, you heard it. Give Aaron a call. Give him a call. Oh, here, let me just give you Aaron's number over the live chat.
1778.
That would be some funny stuff.
Or you just give the wrong number.
Yeah, like 555. 555.
I went to Vancouver's seed site, and it's not on the website.
It's not on their website right now?
That's why you got to get a hold of Cookie.
Dana, send us copies. We all need copies.
Did you check DanaLarson.com?
It says coming soon.
No way. Not even up yet? Oh, but there's links there. Rolica Pro, Harry Pothead, and the Marijuana Stone. So, let me see. Order copies by mail order, direct from the author. So there you go. All right, here we go. Please send us an email. book@harrypothead.net. Probably could phone that. I guess I should have had a better organized in regards to being able for people to be able to get that. Keep watching Hash Church. We will get you this information, this important information. And worst case scenario, you can replay the part of Hash Church where I read it if you're really jonesing for green buds and hash. I'm jonesing for some hash right now, so maybe it's time to have a little ripple. 40 minutes left of Hash Church. It's good. Exciting. So stoked to go eat. I haven't eaten since last night. I don't have a huge appetite, so I have to take like a massive break for like 14 hours and not eat food so I can go there and actually eat like an omelet and not be full. A lot of people hit me up here. Quiet time here in Hash Church?
Well, I have a funny story I can share.
Please do.
So I went out of town the other night just for the evening, and I've got my girlfriend moved in with me. So she's basically fulfilling all the housewife duties, you know, helping out with the kids, helping out with the garden, helping out with the house. So she decided to drink a little bit and have a good time the other evening, and I get home the next morning. She was like, "You're going to be so happy. I found this hash that you probably didn't even know about." And I was like, "Oh, yeah?" And she was like, "Yeah." So she comes out, and she's like, "This." Like, you probably didn't know about it. And I was like, "Oh, my God." So it sat out all night. It's all nice and greased up, but the funniest part about the story is this has been sitting in the fridge for about 4 months.
I gave him your number.
Waiting to get it to my friend. So now I have 4-month-old hash that is melted out. Very sad.
Sorry,
Don't leave hash around.
I missed the last part of what you were saying. What happened? It melted out?
It melted out, yeah. It greased up because it was out of the fridge for a bit, and she smoked a nice little portion of it, and just was so excited to show me this hash that she'd found. It was really fun.
That's awesome.
Nobody else sees the humor in this?
I see the humor in it, but I didn't hear the first part of the story. It was cutting out from Mark and John's mic were on, and I couldn't hear what you were saying, so I missed a part of it. You know that weird, awkward silence you sometimes get when you tell someone from like Germany a story, but they didn't quite understand you, and they're just looking at you like.
Yeah, that's funny.
I just did the punchline.
All right, the punchline is I had really great 4-month-old hash chilling in the fridge. She thought that she was just the best thing in the world because she found some hash that I displaced and smoked it and left it out all night.
Oh, yeah,
Like
that's
a good
what I do. That's up there with Tony. Tony had a good one where someone took the last of his good hash and rolled it up in a joint with tobacco.
Ah.
That was a classic. And then passed it to him.
Oopsie. I thought it was pretty funny. I laughed my ass off. She was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." It's like, no, I guess we just have to smoke it now.
Which is never a bad thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. It was. So she told me it was my early Mother's Day present. I'll take it.
For sure. Next time, just tell her to give it to her out of her, give it to you out of her stash.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna teach her how to make hash with me so that she can give me a hand. So I'll just make her make me some more.
There you go. Now you're in.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I've got the way to get the book. You email Dana at Dana Larsen, DanaLarsen Dana@danalarson.com. He'll say you can send him money via email or figure out another way, but that's how you get that book. So that's your best bet for direct source, to send an email and get it. Thank you, Mandolin Wind, who shared that with me.
So what all did I miss today? Can I get a recap?
Well, yeah, let's see. Amber, who's in the room there. I don't know if she's in between Etienne and Aaron on your cameras, but Amber came in through Nick Bradley from Harborside, and he was telling me that he was going to help bring inspirational stories of people that have been using cannabis to benefit themselves and increase the quality of their lives. So Amber had a story about that. So she was, we welcomed her. That was early on. You can meet Amber, Jen, Amber, Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Hi, Amber. Nice to meet you. I'll have to go back and watch that.
Yes.
So, give me a small recap on your story for me and anybody else that just joined, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So, I'm work in the cannabis industry right now. I make edibles. I'm an edibles maker. But I moved here to California from Chicago after finding out that I had lupus and Lyme's disease, actually, in October of 2013 on Halloween, of all days. And I moved here because I got a job working for Compassion Edibles. And I really, cannabis has always been my passion. And I had to move away from Chicago because the winters were a little too harsh. And with the conditions that I have, I'm very, very sensitive to the cold. So I had a choice of moving to Atlanta to be with my family, the rest of my family, or move out here to California and have safe access to the plant. And I decided to move out here to California because cannabis really helps my conditions.
Good choice. Now you're with your cannabis family.
Yeah. It's been pretty awesome. It's been a little over a year now, and really, really enjoying Cali life.
I bet. Yeah, I'm here from Utah so that I could be. Yeah, I can definitely relate to moving where you're able to legally obtain what you need. So, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. And not just that. There's like an array of really awesome products, that are available out here that you can't necessarily, you can't get in the East Coast. So.
Yeah, I bet.
Topicals, canna caps, all those awesome things.
Exactly. I'm from Utah, and when I moved out here, they were just barely catching on to dabs.
Yeah.
Well, I will have to get your information. We can stay in touch.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, Dub Ian is asking Amber what part of Cali. I believe it was Oakland.
Yes, Oakland, Oaktown.
Oaktown.
Yeah.
The house.
Toketown.
Yeah. Tokeland. I'll talk to that.
Yeah.
Hey, Horatio, can you tell me a little about that photo that you posted, the THCA isolate?
I was literally just typing out the answer to your question about LHO and CO2.
I appreciate that. Because can I ask you a more pointed, you guys? So there were these people at the secret session last night that were basically saying that they got THCA. they're online. They're at CALI. Is it CALI? Labs. It's Cali Labs. But Trip. So this is what it looks like, and they're saying it's THCA, and of course, if you test any of the shatter's all THCA unless it's been decarboxylated. So then I saw the photo on your Facebook, and I was wondering, could you please tell me about this, please?
Well, they're basically saying it's high purity THCA, which means it doesn't have any terps.
Right.
So that's why you get that. So unless the lab is all putting out 99.
What temperature does it melt at, Todd? What's the exact melting point?
I don't know the exact.
It should dab. It should dab perfectly.
I don't know the exact. I honestly just came into contact with it last night. When honestly, it sounded like marketing bullshit initially because honestly, unless you purposefully decarboxylate the oil, every shatter, every butter you're getting is THCA if you have it tested because it hasn't been heated yet and it hasn't turned into Delta 9. And there's still so much misunderstanding about decarboxylation in the industry. People don't understand what it means, and it just means it's activated. And all hash, all the THC on a bud is THCA. So this to me, I guess they're just getting this by extracting to the point where it's just THC, because THC is.
That's what they're technically presenting.
It's crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're either saying it's pure or it's 99 or tested at some high rate. It's going to melt. So dab it.
Oh, the experiment is on, Rachel. Well, I will try it, sir.
Oh, what a challenge. To accept the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune.
Hey, you did it hey, wait a minute, mister. You first person. I was holding your damn case when you were still over there smoking the stuff. So tell me about it, Mr. Etienne.
It was, I did get some flavor from it, honestly, even though as you stated, it did not have truth. I did get a flavor from it and a nasal, and I definitely coughed for sure.
Well, that starts to go into whether.
That's what it looks like.
You'd have to start with so much, but go for it. Let's hear it, and then I'll answer your other.
Okay, well, I'll try it.
It should melt really well.
Someone had a big jar of it at the last cannabis cup.
Yeah, it did. It melted, and it tastes. Actually, he's telling me now that they added terps to it, which only makes sense. But it tastes actually pretty good, and it's really smooth, and it's still set at 505 via Mark and his tasteful terpene comment.
What terps did they add?
Because I have a feeling they just failed to remove all the terps, and they claim they added it back, but it's just the remainder. Because I know mine isn't 100% pure because I can still taste something.
I would say that it tastes pretty good. I mean, I got some feedback from our conversation about adding terpenes, and the person who wrote me back was Sam SKunkman, and he was very concerned that people were adding terpenes that were never intended to be smoked or ingested into these products because he feels that there's no product control. And if you look at flavored tobacco and such, that they're using flavors that you can inhale. They're purposefully trying, but the tobacco company doesn't really care about us. But I'm saying that we should be, as a cannabis community, making sure that the terpenes that are being added back to these products aren't stuff that's intended to be degreasing solvent sold, for $20 a gallon, like D-limonene actually is. It's citrus derived. You can get it on the internet, and it's not intended to be smoked. And the stuff that people are adding back, because we are not yet at the pace where people are pulling terpenes like Tony or Kenny or others are doing, they're adding shit that they're buying off the internet, and a lot of these things are not intended for human ingestion. And we don't know, which was the big point Sam was making, we don't know what's going to happen if we start smoking all these terpenes. And
Well, I mean, I know the answer. In the video me and Bubbleman shoot, you're smoking the red stuff in the middle, and that's why it's dangerous, and that's why I don't agree with it. Because I know every derived terpene is still dirty. Even all of the fragrance terpenes, they're still dirty for inhalation, even if they're fine for putting it on your arm.
Well, the other thing that you always have to keep in mind is that a lot of the most fragile terpenes
That's not really
are
good.
not stable.
On the little video.
So what you end up pulling into your lungs is not necessarily what terpenes are in the room temperature mixture. So when those are heated up on a nail at nail vaporization temperature, all kinds of chemistry happens. So it's one thing to, again, look at the profile of your terpenes that's in your mixture and say, well, again, there's higher than acceptable terpenes than are usually in most cannabis extracts. That's one issue. I think that's what Todd is bringing up. But when those terpenes are heated up at these temperatures, chemistry happens, especially in air, especially when there's decomposition products, say, on the surface of the nail. So, I mean, all that stuff does create the opportunity to make noxious compounds that you don't want breathing into your lungs.
All right, so Todd, to answer the second part of your question, no, I don't extract with CO2 and add D-limonene. Limonene is at the forefront of being one of the most natural, sustainable, renewable, low carbon footprint, and at the same time, one of the most powerful non-polar solvents that we can use in a green capacity. So there are many, many grades, just like butane, to everything. So there's a $20 gallon of limonene, and then there's a $200 micro bottle of, you could say, molecules. And nobody is buying molecules or spending. They're not interested in that. They're interested in getting a 3-note Kool-Aid experience past young cannabis users who don't know anything about strains and flavors. So it's a money grab anytime you see any product with fruit-based terpenes added back. But at the same time, you can see someone like me who's turned that to a whole different level, and I'm extracting with it and getting a non-polar product. That is what I'm using to challenge that butane and gas-based solvents aren't the be-all and end-all of what we could potentially extract from cannabis. So I'm trying a completely different route.
Horatio, so you're telling me that you're basically using a terpene instead of butane or CO2 or propane? You're using.
And I can get it to make shadow.
Running terpenes over your cannabis, and you're getting an oil out. If I'm really grasping this.
Dude, we did a video, Todd. You should watch it. I'm telling you, it's worth your time.
Oh, I will absolutely watch it. And you know, then if I get this right, these heads would be shattered. This would be deconstructed molecules of the cannabinoids, if I'm correct, right? Because this wouldn't press, right, Mark?
No, what you're looking at right there, if I understand what it is right, is just crystalline THCA. And so we were talking about the melting point before. Remember that when you heat up THCA, it decarboxylates and makes THC. So the key thing to look at purity is the color, which I think is what Jen is mentioning about, but also the sharpness of that melting point. If it melts over a broad range of temperatures, it's less pure. And anything that you add to a pure substance will always lower its melting point. So you can't get you can't get a higher melting point with a less pure substance. The closest to your melting point, which I think, I'm not sure exactly what it is for crystalline THC, but for THCA, I mean, it's a moot point because as it melts, it decarboxylates and changes its molecular structure because it's losing the CO2 molecule. So what's key to notice is how sharp that melting point is. Does that happen over a broad range of, say, like 10 degrees where it starts to get tacky and then eventually melts and turns into a liquid, or does it do it very sharply, like just over a range of 1 or 2 degrees?
You know, just doing that bong hit is super clean, and it was kind of very elevating, and it was really nice, honestly. It did melt really well, but I don't know what the range of it would be. it's very interesting. You know, there's so much that's happening now with so many angles of the same plant. It's quite beautiful to see them all unfolding.
Oh, you
Well, that's
bet.
where I'm looking at it from the standpoint of taking a strain. Let's say you have a strain with low THC but a phenomenal terp profile, and you know those terps are modulating and producing a result. If I can increase the THC content, it's almost like breeding and experimenting and breeding a more superior strain to see how much those terps can modulate THC. So that's what I'm experimenting in.
Now mixing, and when we're procuring it, this is where we're really starting to see it. Because if you take a couple known varieties that have been lab tested by whatever your standards you're using, and you start mixing them together, you can make some fantastic profiles when it comes to, you know, the beauty of it all. And, you know, I think this is the one thing I really think is that it shouldn't be a quest for one molecule. Marinol did not work for us, really, and I think that in order to have a pizza, in the euphemism, you need to have a balance of dough and spices and cheese and sauce, and this is cannabis. Cannabis is this balance of all these different cannabinoids and terpene profiles, and we should be trying to respect that at the end of the, you know, at the end of it all, because it's not just about having the highest THC or highest CBD or highest isolate. It's about really, can you bring the whole picture?
Right, and the genetics of the plant are the knobs that you can turn to change the profile of the chemicals that are produced by the plant, as well as where the artist comes in, and that's the process by which you extract and prepare, like what you're saying, Todd, which is essentially a formulation, not just a single molecule, but and as Professor Mishulam has coined, an entourage of molecules that has a synergistic effect in the body that we really don't fully understand.
Can I? Dr. Lester Grinspoon has had a pet peeve with that word entourage for the whole time, and his problem, being a Harvard professor, is, does anybody use a dictionary anymore? When you look up the word entourage, it has one definition. The definition is a group of people surrounded by a famous person. And what Dr. Lester Grinspoon really pressed upon me was, what he's trying to explain is an ensemble, which you experience it like an orchestra, when the violinist and the cello and everyone's playing together in perfect syncopation, and what they're making is beautiful. But one, you know, tuba alone does not a symphony make. And his point is what we're seeking is either a synergy of the cannabinoids or an ensemble effect of the cannabinoids, but it sure is not an entourage effect. It ain't THC showing up in a limousine with all its buddies throwing a HBO special. And I've been trying to correct people on this, but the stupidity goes all the way to CNN, because nobody uses it. At Weed, Sanjay Gupta, turns out dictionaries aren't that popular at CNN. And anyone that looks up the word entourage would realize they've been using it wrong. So, in the spirit of Dr. Lester Grinspoon, the ensemble effect.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I think words are important too. You know, people have been getting down on, you know, trying to talk about the reclassification and getting away from sativa. But I think it's the smartest thing to do, because when we're trying to explain, you know, varieties, it's easier to use the longitude and latitude lines of the planet to explain a northern plant that flowers fast and an equatorial plant that will take forever to flower. Because that's really what we're trying to explain when we're saying sativa indica. We're really trying to say quick flowering or long flowering. You know?
Nomenclature is key. With the Medical Cannabis Safety Council, one of the key things we had is nomenclature, because if we're not on or speaking at the same level of education, then we're, one, short-sighting ourselves as well as the rest of the community. And so Rob Clark, our guru, taught us the indica sativa, and now he is teaching us otherwise. So as I told Todd last night, marijuana botany is kind of like the Old Testament, and his new book, Cannabis Ethnobiology, is kind of like the New Testament.
Well, Cannabis Evolution and Ethnobotany is not a grow book, in all honesty. And you know,
but in an understanding of nomenclature and proper understanding of genetics. He taught us the indica sativa initially, and now in the second part he is now teaching us that what he taught us was incorrect, and that we need to know now what the truth is.
That's cool. You got a cat invading your space, man. But no, and I think it's huge because when you say to people something's 50-50 sativa indica, it doesn't make shit percent. But if you point to a point where it is on the flowering time, it makes clean sense. Aaron, you're the seed guru in our little crowd, brother.
Yeah, I mean it's I think it's a you have a broad leaf and a thin leaf, and usually generally most thin leaf varieties are equatorial. That sativa thing that we're talking about, but it's and then the indicas are obviously the more brighter, the higher range, mountainous, higher elevation plants.
What kind of? I mean, you've got narrow leaf drug varieties in Nepal. I mean, they're at higher elevations, but this is what they traditionally use to make hash and all clothes out of. I mean, but when you look at India, I think that these equatorial varieties just naturally go towards the south. These narrow leaf, drug varieties and narrow leaf hemp varieties. I really support the new nomenclature. I think that explaining it using what we know now instead of what we're used to is a lot more cutting edge. It's instead of just holding on to the past and trying to be like, well, this is the way we used to do it. Well, I'd rather do it the way we better understand it. And I think that we now understand the diversity of cannabis so much better, and we understand that all these equatorial varieties probably are just escaped from southern India, if you will, places like Goa and that southern tip, and went around the world. And I think this is where the new cannabis is at, too. I think we're all going to start growing 10, 11, 12, 13-week varieties because it's the only place we're going to start finding our new flavors. I mean, I think stuff under feet have been done to death. Mark?
I just said Jamaica for the win.
Jamaica. Oh, I can't wait till we're all visiting you there on tours, Mark, honestly.
Just about cracking seeds, cracking seeds, those old primary colors, and then playing with them within the new realm of colors, that are around, the OGs, the oranges, all the different things. I mean, but you got to add some true F1 status back into it, because there's not so many people playing with those pure landrace or pure primary colors.
No, and man, people could say what they will about Ari, and I think what he's been doing is fantastic with strain hunters, running around and collecting varieties and trying to get people to recognize the significance of the plant and the idea of going back and bringing back some really fantastic, genetics to start working with. I mean, there's not enough companies like you guys, DNA included, that are taking it seriously, in my opinion. So many people are mixing together, hybrids and getting, as Rob Clark would put it, dog's breakfasts, and they're selling them as seed packs against stuff like you guys that are tried and true. And I don't know, I think it's a drag. I hope that as things progress, more and more people start really trying to craft cannabis and isolate the uniqueness of it, as opposed to just putting out another bigger, faster bud seed, Right.
I mean, lately, I think we've been about the terpene, the highest terpene profile strains, and because we believe that's where the medicine really is, it's all about the terpene. Everything's going to get you high, but what's going to direct you as the Sam the Skunkmans, have taught us. It's those terpenes that direct, that change the high, that make you feel good, make you feel sitting. So that's what I mean. So when you see like a lot of these tangy things, we feel like tangy's the terpene profile that puts a smile on your face, it's uplifting, and we're trying to give people that feeling, with this terpene profile. And then, let them play with it and let them change it into all these other products. I mean, it's going to happen where it's like aromatherapy. You can package that smell, and now you just smell it, and it changes your day.
Jen just posed a question. She wrote, do sativas seem racier because people aren't growing them out long enough, or is that just a strain thing? And this is something when I got to Amsterdam and I started smoking Cali Mist, Dental 5 by Haze, Jack Herer, the original 94 strain, that was mostly haze, I realized that it was amping me up. It was like a morning coffee. It's what I'm smoking now. I'm actually smoking Neville's Haze this morning. And it gives me a lot of energy. And Rob Clark used to tell me that he liked short flowering varieties harvested early because they mimicked the high energy feeling of the long flowering varieties, which ironically he liked cut late, because when he let his long flowering varieties go to their furthest, it would have even more of an amplification of high energy. And he explained to me that if you think about it, in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, we were smoking mostly equatorial, narrow drug leaf variety, Vietnam, Colombian, Acapulco Gold, Michoacan, Jamaican, Maui Wowie, all stuff from around the equator. And it wasn't until we found the indica in the 70s and we started bringing it back and trying to make everything that wouldn't finish flowering for us in California finish, and that was mixing the northern varieties to it. And by the 80s, we had gotten very narcotic, knock you out, make you want to lay on your couch and grab a remote kind of pot that really didn't mimic the varieties that were high energy, organizing, make you want to go throw a rally type stuff. And I think that it's just a cannabinoid profile, and that's one of the reasons I am so excited about the 10 to 16 week varietals, because that's where I see the higher energy, higher minded, more psychedelic thinking man's or woman's varieties, if you will. You know, sadly, a lot of the commercial stuff that has the big buds, I see big buds and I don't really feel excited because 90% of the time I don't want to smoke that shit. You know, just to be honest, I mean.
Can I present something? When I was growing for Ed Rosenthal back in the day, we had a haze. And we discussed to make it flowering faster about week 7. We scaled as opposed to being 12 and 12 to 12 and then 11 hours. And then another week later, we scaled it back another hour. This seemed to trigger the hormone in the plant to finish quickly, or at least trigger the hormone in the plant that it's fall and it needs to ripen up. What do you think of that as a technique?
I don't think we have to fucking hurry things up anymore. Why we got to be on this little rat race time schedule? I mean, if you want to pull pot down every week and you have a 16-week plant, just do 16 plants in a row. Every Friday, put a plant in the flower, and by the time 16 weeks have gone up, every single Friday is going to be a harvest day for you, and it doesn't matter what the schedule of the plant is. It depends on the schedule you put it on. It's, we have smartphones these days. We don't have to do dumb gardening techniques. We don't have to sit here and wait 3 months for weed. We just got to do, perpetual harvest techniques, and we'll get whatever pot we want. And I think in a legal environment, what are we going to worry about anymore? You got warehouses now in Colorado with hundreds of lights in them. Rotate. Well, as long as they don't get bug or mold problems, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, suddenly we can force the plant to be within our time zones, not so much theirs. And I get for a long time why growers that were popping rooms wanted to do 8 weeks instead of 12 weeks. It's obvious.
It's because we're dealing with urban growers. The majority of urban growers can't afford 12-week or to wait 14 weeks for a varietal to come down. They need to actually.
I would argue it doesn't change that much on
with these unfortunate 6 to 8 week varietals, because no one has that forward thinking like you on doing staggering lighting. They're taught from the grow books to do sea of green. They're not taught to keep perpetual harvest. It wasn't until
perpetual harvest is not going to cost any different. If I have a perpetual harvest garden going, it isn't going to change $1 away, what I plant put in. It's just that I've got to run through my rotations on my own little schedule.
Etienne, I think you can't. Just to answer your question, you can do that, but you're not going to be losing that much time. Is shortening the hours. It's you can start and then go slowly, but your plant's not going to go from 16 weeks to 10 weeks all of a sudden.
Just for me, taking out every week, 16 weeks is a lot of work as of being a gardener. That's those times when we get that break when we're watering, we get those week breaks and stuff. So a week harvest for me is kind of a headache in a way. As much as I used to like it, it's too much work on the medical end.
Yeah, I mean, we've grown out equatorial thin-leaf sativas that we used to call, and they weren't even finished at 21 weeks of flowering. And like, shit you not, we cut it down because like we pulled multiple crops out of the room while this thing was still flowering, and it was very sativa-like high, uplifting, but it was never fully finished because, you know, at 21 weeks we were done. So I mean, there's plants out there that'll take forever that probably won't ever finish. Maybe this plant wouldn't have never finished.
Well,
So-
the way Rob explained it was they've acclimated in a climate where they've had to flower and veg simultaneously, and they've had to have loose, spindly buds that were on the edge of, you know, rejuvenation because of the fact of the hard rains and molds would set in and take the plant down if it didn't figure out a way to be more resilient. And the way it was resilient was by, you know, keep going, keep growing, I guess. You know, pretty badass, really.
Overgrow.
Yeah, to all our mother plants, I hope they have a great day, really. So can we have a bong hit for our mother plants? Where would be we without them?
How about the bong hit to the homies that take care of the mother plants for you?
Ah, the different levels. That's some funny shit. It's a pretty big dabber you got there, Horatio. What do you just got, like a...
This is my syringe. It's just my personal syringe. I don't have time for it to run out, so they're, you know, 7 grams at once.
You know, though, I don't like those. I think this is so much better. I think those syringes look like all the freaking propaganda posters of the 20s and 30s.
Well, my normal syringes they're medical, they're red, they're light sensitive, so they don't look the crack pipe type. They're a different color. I'm at home, so I'll use this big horse needle to dab with.
Hey, I'm not denying you your in-home use of the things. I just say when I'm out and about and I see people selling oil in these damn syringes, a little part of me cringes. You know, it's like the perfect yellow journalism photo op, you know, but it's what it is.
I don't like when they put the metal tip on the syringe so that they can touch it to the nail and they dab it straight. It freaks me out really bad.
So have you guys seen the glass ones? It's glass. I thought that was pretty brilliant. Because I can touch it to the metal all I want. It's pretty cool.
Everyone's got their options, hey? Everyone's got their options.
Well, that's a great thing about the technology and age that we're in. We actually have created these options through our choices.
True, true. Well, I sure appreciate everyone coming and hanging out. It is 12 o'clock, and I have a few responsibilities today, including going and spending some time with my lovely wife for Mother's Day and taking her to a brunch with my children. So I do want to thank all of you for coming and sharing your time. Aaron from DNA and Amber, the veteran smoker, who came in and shared her story with us. Super stoked you did. Etienne, Horatio, and Jen Doe. Happy Mother's Day to Jen Doe as well. Johnny B, Mark Scialdone, Todd McCormick, Tony with a huge crew. He's got Ramon and Rick and Ken and Jibs and a few dudes I didn't even recognize. But thank you guys for coming and hanging. And I'm Bubbleman. Thanks for watching Hash Church, everybody. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Guys.